Betas is a show about relationships made for the weirdos, introverts, and artists who love people, conversation, and learning to embrace who they are instead of molding to what the normies want from you. Let's begin the show.
How can that ever get old? That's magical. I hope Bill that's watching right now enjoys that. The devil has arrived, everybody. And it's in the name of betas. Welcome to the show. My name's Anthony Recenello. This is Betas. I'm a relationship coach. I teach social skills and shit. And tonight we have a fun little show for you. I got a fun TikToker on tonight. His name is, I hope I could pronounce it right, Bill Petit. That's probably not right. And I find a kinship with him. It's rare that I actually see guys on the internet like just talking very, very rational without their bias involved, even though most people go, oh yeah, I'm very rational and I have no bias. But like, they don't understand that like their deep, deep anger and hatred of women is like driving everything that's happening in their lives. We're also going to talk about the Leonardo DiCaprio and Jeff Bezos, and like Laura Sanchez thing, which I think is really funny. And I want to like nerdily analyze that 6-second clip because I just think that's really funny. And see what's really going on there. Was Laura really attracted to Leo, or is that just an out of context video? Or is Leo a beta or alpha male and is who's the true beta? Anyway, guys. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about Bill Petit. He's actually in the waiting room right now. I'm making him wait while we watch his TikToks, which I don't know how that's going to feel for him. Just like him watching me watching him. But anyway, I want to jump into that because I think he's a really interesting guy. And I really want to just like talk shop with him. So anyway, here's his first TikTok that it's kind of like the first string of TikToks in this series that I want to pick out. Oh shit! Hold on a second, everybody.
So both men behind me are both me, and
whoops. Stupid new. I got this stupid new.
So both men behind me are both
Stop
me,
it!
And when I put a poll,
I got this stupid new extension for Safari, and it's ruining everything right now for me. Hold on. I have to put the right screen on.
do you like better? Women unanimously chose to look on the left.
Oh my god!
Men mostly
this
chose
is
to look
so
on the
annoying.
right. But I've
stop doing that. Okay. See, everyone. See, Bill doesn't know, but everyone knows that this is like my second week doing this. So I'm just learning. All right. Hopefully we can figure this out. Hold on. Here we go. See, I get things working eventually. All right, here we go.
Like men chose to look on the right because they feel like that's what women would.
All right. Let's go from the start.
So both men behind me are both me. And when I put a poll, which look do you like better? Women unanimously chose to look on the left, while men mostly chose to look on the right. But I feel like men chose to look on the right because they feel like that's what women would want. I don't know. I'm actually asking you guys, why is this? So both men behind me are...
Okay. And then so apparently he goes into the comments and makes another video about it.
So I got to see which one was more accurate, the male or female gaze, in the comment section of this video. Because everyone was writing which version of me, whether it was the one on the left or the right, did better with women and what were some of the assumptions they made. Now, when men were summarizing me...
Oh, it looks like I'm echoing. Damn.
Right.
Nothing's going right tonight.
He knows how to control the
Hold
room.
on.
He looks like
Nothing is going right tonight. Hold on. Let me see if I could like
and the guy on the left looks like a beta.
Stop it.
Oh, and doesn't really.
Sorry guys. I was trying to like fuck with shit on beforehand because I was trying to make the zoom so people could see the zoom, but that just did not work. So now I kind of messed up the whole freaking stream, and I'm sorry about that. All right. All right. Tell me am I echoing still? Let me know if I'm still echoing. If not, we will continue. And am I also skipping frames? Life just works out like that sometimes. What could I say? What the fuck am I going to do? But let me guys know, are frames skipping right now? Is there echo right now? Give me tell me in the chat, please. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this. Ugh. All right. Here we go. Where was I here? All right. Well, anyway, let's go to this one. Here we go.
So I got to see which one was more accurate, the male or female gaze, in the comment section of this video, because everyone was writing which version of me, whether it was the one on the left or the right, did better with women and what were some of the assumptions they made. Now, when men were summarizing me on the right, they were saying he looks like an alpha male, he knows how to control the room, he looks like he has his life together, and the guy on the left looks like a beta male and doesn't really get any girls. And that's actually what the guy on the right wanted you to think about him, but that was actually my least successful version of myself with attracting women. And where the women were like, the guy on the right looks like he mansplains, we'll talk about Forex and all these other things. I was actually like that. And so they were really accurate. Got to see which one was more accurate, the male or female.
I mean, look, just in this comment here, Grace says, nah, the left for sure pulls the most. All right. And then there's one more, which even gets deeper into this investigation here.
So a lot of people think it's the bald part, but I actually got asked the most whenever I was bald, whether or not I was a model, and by women. And also, whenever I had my hair grown out and tried to do the turtleneck with a blazer, I got literally it was way worse than just being bald with a turtleneck and a blazer. And I think it's because with the bald head, I looked like masculine in a turtleneck and a blazer, while with long hair, I looked kind of like a psychiatrist. A lot of people think it's the bald part, but I actually got asked the most.
Well, there you go. Okay. So that's Bill Petit. Hopefully that's Bill Petit, if that's how his name is pronounced. He's in the waiting room, everyone. I love like hosting a show because I could say things like, let's bring him in. All right, I'm going to bring him in. There he is. And then
I was bald, whether or not I was a model, and by women. And
right, there we go. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Ask to unmute. And hold on one second. You're still muted. I'm going to ask to unmute you. Yo.
Hey.
Yo, how's my stream? Everyone's saying it's freezing up. It's skipping frames tonight.
It's a little bit choppy, but like honestly, dude, you have a great voice. I like your whole background stuff. Everything the lead in. One of the things I was noticing was you have like such like pleasant people commenting.
Yeah, no, I have nice people. Nice people.
Yeah. It's like a rarity on the internet.
Yeah. Betas are commenting. That's who are what do you think of the name of my new podcast, calling it Betas?
Oh, I love it because actually, so I was in the dating coaching space 2015 2016. Oh, yeah. And like just the term alpha and beta just really has ruined a lot of lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Including my own. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm not gonna. It would. There was such a. I've ruined relationships in the pursuit of being alpha,
Yeah.
trying to appease other people. So I think just kind of just taking the name and just showing what it is. It's a name not based in science. It's a
Yeah.
name that's hilarious, and it's kind of
Yeah.
an indicator that you're not having the relationship with women that you would want, and
Yes.
that's why you're emblemizing, you know. And so it just,
Yeah.
I love it, and it catches attention too,
Yeah.
you know. So that's another thing. It's like calling the New York Yankees Yankees,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's like it is. I think it's just really good marketing is all. It's like things that have good marketing are what win. It's not what's right
Yes.
wins, right? It's like
Yes.
when you're 16 years old, you don't have a lot of experience with women. You could even be in college and you are angry at women a little bit. And you also like superhero movies and action films and James Bond. And then some guy on the internet goes, well, you see all that, your anger, and do you see James Bond, how strong and tough he is? And now I'm going to tell you that means that men are supposed to be pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you why, because as cavemen, and then they just go into this bullshit history that makes no sense at all.
I have literally heard it all
Yeah.
in the manosphere.
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to protect your woman from a guy with a club?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's why you, like, I'm going to tell you, you got to be non-reactive, because back in primate days, if you reacted to a mammoth coming at you,
Yeah.
you would still be alive.
Yeah. Like it's the idea that like other men are going to kill you and rape your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We could go into this for hours, but what I really like is like, listen, if I believed this worked, like if I believed the red pill headspace, the alpha pill worked, I'd be like, yeah, it actually is real. But it's not. It literally does not work. It's literally not real.
Yep.
And honestly, that's why I was excited to bring you on, because I was like, man, this is probably the first guy ever that was just like, yeah, no, I tried this. This did not work for me. Tried this. This worked for me. And it's as simple as that. Like, and you took away all emotion. You took away going, well, what I want to feel powerful. What about feeling powerful? And it's like, well, I don't care about, I literally just want to be with girls that I like. I want to know how you feel. Like, tell me your experience with that.
Well, number one, thank you for saying that. And I wish it was as seamless as you had stated, but I had to lose women I love.
Yeah.
You know, and what you realize is people are just, so one of the things I tell people about the red pill is people are just attracted to people who have strong boundaries, period. This has nothing to do with, like, if you have strong boundaries in life with yourself and with other people, you can completely have that without the misogyny. And for a long time, I was caught up, and you get caught up in this kind of this like Oedipal theater of like your success with women and representing it to yourself. And even whenever they say, oh, are you going to get cucked by another man or whatever like this? And it's like, it's all about the theater of the thing. And so slowly I just began to investigate, like, number one, what is this really giving me? And I read 5 Men Explain Things to Me. My ex-girlfriend gave it to me, and started just realizing, oh, I'm in a cult, honestly, because and I'm not really considering reality for what it is. And so it was a long transition of first me blaming my ex for breaking up with me, right? And then like building up this like hero narrative of how I'm going to win her back by being so alpha and amazing. And then you get to this point where you realize that was always the fucking problem. The concept of alphaness and that aspiration and like here's the thing is having things that you have passion about and standing up for them is something valuable.
Yeah.
But standing up for things just because you're trying to assert your dominance in a situation, it just doesn't get you the kind of women. Like you'll find women who are attracted to you who will put up with that, and you'll find women who are attracted to that behavior. But for me, I'm a lawyer. I love reading post-structuralist philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those women they weren't my type. And so it just set me up for a context where I was never going to have the woman or the relationship that I really did want and crave.
Yeah. And something interesting I see you point out is like, the values that the red pill alpha thing teaches, it's like, well, there could be good things in there, but it's like, here's the issue is like, first of all, they're pretty basic values, but number two, they're just like, it's regular basic values, but spiked with like a roofie, like spiked with fucked up drugs. It's like it's just mangled values is all it is. It's like, well, like the other thing is like women just want a man with money and status, and like we just bring them down to these like very simple creatures that just want these things. But if we think about it, well, I don't believe that women just want money or status, but I do believe that everybody is universally attracted to a sense of purpose in a person, right? And a person that's purposeful, really purposeful, quite often they become successful. And so it could, like, to somebody that has like a simple mind, that hasn't really thought about it because they have a lot of bias involved, they go, oh, well, that guy's rich, so that's why. And I mean, there's so many examples where it's not about being rich or having status. It's about having a sense of purpose in what you do, right? Being passionate, like you said. And it's like, again, these are simple ideas. These are simple values. But like, again, it's just marketing. It's taking the idea of like these ideas and saying, no, we're going to, like what you said, like add a story to it, add this narrative to it to like start making you feel, oh, this is this and this. And then you start feeling, oh, I woke up. I'm smart now. Like I see what others don't. Like, no, we all see it, but you just see it in a mangled way. Like those values have been here since the beginning.
Yep. And I think part of it too is that when there is this weird thing where there are differences in friendship and romance, and I think that it comes out of this space where you have a lot of men who, back when I used to coach, a lot of guys are just you'd be like, oh man, you seem like a straight up good guy, like I don't understand why you're having these problems. But the issue that they were having was just like they maybe wouldn't make the move, or maybe they'd make a declaring of feelings, which we've all done, and but rather than just be like, oh yeah, that's not that big of a deal, bro. Like like maybe just do these things a little bit better, or maybe set the context better, or maybe be more clear with what you actually want from the beginning, and don't have these covert contracts. You have these people where it's like, no, actually, she betrayed you, she used you, when actually the whole time you were having a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
Like the weird thing is that the framing of friend zone being a place where women put you in, rather than actually you just have a woman that's your friend and you might have a crush on her. like you are seeing something great in this person, and you maybe you haven't done the things in your life to where she instantly puts you in the frame of lover, or you guys have such a good rapport that like the time you're having with each other is really far away from feeling sexual. But that doesn't mean she's an evil person. I'm going to tell you this. I have this problem when I'm on a date and we're having an amazing time. I don't feel sexually aroused either.
Yeah.
Because having a great conversation is actually different in how your brain
Yeah.
interprets the situation than the build up to sex.
Yeah.
And rather than like kind of just taking all of that away, it's just like, no, she got all that
Yeah.
she could out of you. She used you as
Yeah.
as a cum thing, and then
Yeah.
she went over there and fucked another guy. And
Yeah.
it's like, bro, like I'm like, man,
Yeah.
and I go back to myself because it used to be, I think, because anger is such a motivator that these guys use that as part of the catalyst of the marketing. And also I wanted to bring this up. It's so simple. I love that you pointed out that the red pill stuff is so simple, and that's why it's such a bastion for racism
Yeah.
and as well as sexism, and it's a pipeline to the alt-right.
Yes.
Because what it basically, you try to make reality simpler than it is, and when you keep trying to do that, people who vaguely look alike all must be alike,
Yeah.
right? People who have private part like this
Yeah.
must be like that, and it's just like, you are Nordic warrior,
Wow.
blah, blah. And it's, and it's all
Holy
part of this
crap.
mythopoetic universe that people kind of interpolate themselves through. And it's just like, it's sad to see people get caught up in it. I mean, I've gone through the black pill stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the big thing too is with online dating, people end up mistaking apps for reality.
Yeah.
So in an environment, let's say clubs and apps, where people, not just women, people are hyper like shallow because it's basically meant for that. Of course,
it's commodifying people.
Profile. Exactly. It's your Amazon page.
Like it's not humans' fault. It is literally the medium. The medium forces you to do that.
Yes. And so many people conflate what happens in this medium with actual reality, that they end up either focusing on the immutable, which was the case for me. Like, I'm half Indian, half black, and I think Dataclysm had come out in 2015 or 2014, and it really like psychically injured me, because it was like the realization of everything that I secretly feared, which was that was. But the thing is even the message lower rate of Indian and black men is only like 10 messages, right? So it's actually just solved within just sending 200 messages on the platform. But no one looks at that.
Yeah.
You look at something that you can't change about you, and you build a victim narrative, and you end up hating the world. And it's hard to get out of until you transcend concepts like race and all these other things. And you just realize people are attracted to you as an individual when you meet them in reality.
I like you so much.
Dude, I'm having an amazing time. This is great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And another thing that I tell people about online dating is like, and this is so true, because we commodify humans. So it's like, we're not on online dating. The person that one would be attracted to on a dating app wouldn't be attracted to in real life. A person that you might be attracted to in real life, you might not be attracted to on a dating app, because for instance, like, if we're going to think of like a big black and white example, you could think of like this Giga Chad with like the most muscles in the world, like super huge. Like in real life, that might be weird to be around. Like they could just be too big, like way too bulging, busty, like, but on a picture where we relate that to like a magazine ad or, an action hero or something like that, that is where I believe we make the connection when we see the person on a dating app.
Yeah, no, and I love that you brought up the Giga Chad example, because I've never really heard of, when I've shown the picture, women usually are terrified actually of the Giga Chad.
Yeah.
And because I mean, and if you really think about it, like, dude, somebody who is there are tons of relationship issues that I've heard women tell me about dating somebody too tall, and people are like, oh, what? That's crazy. No, like 5'2", like women, when a guy's like 6'4", 6'5", now this isn't all women, but some of them, they don't like having to turn up that much. They don't have the logistics. What I'm saying is there are all sorts of narratives for and against literally anybody. And what kind of it's just about finding out whether or not that is the relationship that you might have with that person. But we try to, I think that one of the things about especially millennial culture, is that it's a culture built on curation and fixing faults, because we were the first generation to kind of really get access to the internet as a medium of self-improvement for like at very critical junctures in our life. So everybody, that's why you see things like the black pill, all these other things, because it's like, oh, I now have enough access to information to be able to change these things about myself. I begin to think that attraction is built solely through this physical domain, and it's really not. There's so much. Attraction is so multilateral and actually circumstance dependent. You talked about, like, even there are people that you might meet at the beginning, and this happens less so with men, but this happens with women, where they meet you initially and they're like, I don't think that's my type, but they're talking, they're like, oh my god, this guy's like really cool, and it's this discovery process. And a lot of people, and because when you think about things in terms of clubs, I think also do this for a lot of people, because I remember just taking guys out on boot camp. Clubs will just be your worth. It validates all your insecurities if you're literally anybody. I've literally gone out with my best looking friends and seen them getting blown out. It's an environment made to make you feel insecure, so you keep buying drinks. And so people, when they think of success, they think of it within this domain. And it's just like, people have met the love of their life there, but I really like meeting women during the day.
It's the least efficient. A nightclub is like the least efficient place. Now, if you like playing a game, if you like challenging yourself, if you're doing it solely for the challenge, the game, putting a video game on hard mode and going, I'm going to win, go for it. But in terms of actual results, it's just highly inefficient.
It'll run you into, you're spending a lot of money. You end up hanging out with people you usually wouldn't. You can get in morally dubious situations where someone might be blackout and you might not even be aware. They wake up at your place and they're like, how did I get here? I've heard all sorts of stories. Like, the thing is that, like, night game, like, I'm glad that I had those times, but me and my friends look back and it's like, I just really missed out on, also, just to tie it back to the alpha, beta, the red pill thing, I missed out on a lot of friendships with women too during that time, where, because there is this thing where it's like, oh, like, I have enough friends. This line permeated everywhere. It's like, oh, if a girl tells you they have a boyfriend but they're down to be friends, oh, I have enough friends. And it's like, and that concept of being friends with a woman as a loss, rather than, hey, like, I'm getting access to attractive women to be friends with me, that I can get their feedback. I can actually get insight into how they think about their problems and relationships with men. And it's completely different than the guy's advice that they give you. What you realize is there's, like, literally a myriad of reasons why anything happens in the dating realm, and it's not as simple as you didn't have enough value, or you weren't tall enough, or you didn't have big enough muscles, you didn't make enough money.
And people fail to realize that relationships are investments. It's not like buying a product, it's investing in somebody. And so, like you said, you're making friends with somebody, and that relationship could, and I always bring up the idea of, you make a friend, you keep hanging out with that friend, and it could be, any gender. They have a birthday party one time, and then all of their friends are there. And if you're good friends with this person, I mean, you are like tapping into their social circle right there with all warm introductions. It's, once again, it's like when a pickup artist wakes up every morning, he starts off at 0. When somebody that is like loves relationships and loves people, when they wake up every morning, they wake up with a bunch of investments, in their life that they could tap from. They could message somebody, hey, what's going on this week? Anybody, women, men, anybody.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. And just to steel man your point, is like, the person actually that just called me during this time, we met, I met her 5 years ago, or 5 years ago now, in Chicago, just on the street. We've only had like one actual time we kissed, but we've like been friends for 5 years. She's acted in my pilot. Like, she's featured in my anime. She connected me with their friends. So it's just to highlight the point. And she's beautiful. We talk, we flirt, but like, I'm happy whenever she's in a relationship, and she helps me out with creative projects. and it has been such a resource. And so definitely this investment, when you invest in people and you kind of just let things go where the other person wants them to go, like it's kind of weird to have, if you can just get into the exploration mindset whenever dating, it's like, I just want to see how far this goes and whether or not the sex makes sense for me.
Yeah, that's
because
great.
that's another thing. Like I remember, like one of the things that I've been working on lately is what I call compulsive sex, where it's like if you get in the habit of dating and it's like, oh, like we're dating, I set up the date close to my place and we end up back to my place and then you have sex. There's an acceleration that happens on that to where sometimes even if you do like each other and stuff like that, it just happens so fast you just don't feel invested. So I've been slowing down a lot of my dating and really seeing if it makes sense for me as like I feel like I really want this to happen right now. Not like, oh, am I going to feel, because comp het, really, when I found out that term from TikTok, from like a 17-year-old kid, but like that's what I love about TikTok.
Wait, what's the term?
Compulsory heteronormative behavior, comp het.
Got it.
And basically it's as it was explained to me, is that where you make decisions because you feel like you have to do that to be heteronormative. And guys do this all the time, especially in America, where it's like, oh, like I tried to have sex with her, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what are you? And then there's the because everyone's trying to prove that they're not gay.
Yes.
And it's all rooted in this weird homophobia. So I have a joke in my stand-up. I love that you like that, because I was like, one of my jokes in my stand-up is the gayest thing I ever did was have sex with lots of women because I did it to impress other men.
Yes.
Like, no woman is impressed by that.
I think about that all the time. It's like most of what guys do in terms of dating is to look cool to their friends.
Yes.
And I did that when I was 18, when I was 19, that's how I thought about stuff. I go, well, I want to meet this girl and I want to get with this girl because I'm going to be fucking cool, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once I started going, like this was the same thing for alcohol for me, you know, at one time I stopped drinking for like 2 years. And now I just drink like rarely, but I went, wait, I want to know if it's actually like serving me. And I realized, wait, like being cool is not serving me. The only thing, because all I want is I just want to be with somebody that I'm attracted to, that I like and likes me back. I don't care about anything else. So why am I playing into the whole, wow, I want to, you know, I want to look like the man as much as possible to my friends. That literally brings me nothing. What is that going to do?
And they
for
already
me?
like you.
Yeah, they
already fucking like you. They already like you. That's the weird part, right? It's like, dude, I already think you're cool. Stop trying to.
Yeah,
prove
if I had
yourself
like if I had a friend that was horrible at dating, I'm not gonna go, ugh, do I really want to be around this guy? Like that would never enter my mind.
No, it's such a crazy thought. Yeah. And that's the thing is that like we're competing with phantoms, right? Yeah. Like these perceptions. And one of the things, so right now I'm writing this book about the metaphysics of identity. And one of the things I talk about is that like in it, I say that we think of things in kind of a theater setting, but what's really illuminating is the audience within our theater, right? There are people that we aim to impress that are no longer in our lives that we don't talk to, but we tend to interpret the events of our lives from their perspective within our own mind.
Wow, yeah, that's
right.
Great.
So it could even be completely silent, and it could be your friend from high school, and what they would think about this girlfriend who you haven't talked to in 10 years. But this, all of a sudden, you're having this mental argument with this individual who's not part of your life in terms of what you think success is. And a lot of people, for them, success is for the most periphery members of society to still think you're a success. Yes. Right? Everybody's doing things for like, oh, if somebody saw me on the street, they would think I was cool, but you never talk to them.
Yes.
Right?
There is literally, you don't get anything from this coolness. You don't get anything from it. There's literally no, like, you don't get paid. They don't pay you money. What are they going to do? There's nothing. And,
There's
yeah.
literally nothing.
And when I
That's so
realized
funny.
that, yeah, when I realized that, I was like, wait a second. I literally just want to be with somebody that I'm attracted to, that I like, that likes me back. And if I only focus on that, how could I do that?
Mm,
And then I started realizing, well, I could cut out this. This is inefficient. Like going to the club with my boys and hitting on girls.
mm-hmm.
That, if I really look at where I'm dating people the most, that would probably be the least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like the second
Yep.
least or something like that. And what I found is I'm usually finding the people that I like the most through my social circle, through communities that I'm
Mm-hmm.
in, you know, and I
Yep.
feel the most confident in myself through communities that I'm in. I feel the most confident in myself when I go to my best friend's girlfriend's birthday party, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel the most myself, because all those people are going to be like me.
Yep.
There's everything's a warm introduction, and you know, like in those areas, like there's no feeling of like winning there. Whereas at a club, there's a feeling of winning. Oh,
Mm.
I I beat the AMOG or whatever they say. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I said these things and she liked it, and I got through her shit tests, and then I did this, and then I, dragged her out, and then, it's like in your head, it's like, ooh, win. It's like another point. Ooh, another level I passed, another level I passed. And it's like, again, that never served me. It was literally just
No.
a video game. And
No.
video games don't
Yeah.
give you anything except, listen, if you want to play a real life video game, be my guest. But, in my world, if you're going to learn from me, it's like, I'm here to teach you actually how to have a good time with people that you're attracted to and nothing else. Yeah. And another thing that you mentioned, but we've moved so fast in the past, 30 minutes is attraction. And I just find that so interesting. And I talk about it all the time. And, the way I teach it is I say, like, listen, attraction is kind of an amorphous blob. Like, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. You just feel it at the moment. And you can't be attracted to a nose. You can't be attracted to how big somebody's breasts are. You can't be attracted to how big somebody's muscles are. Because those are just body parts. You're not attracted to a body part. It's and you also mentioned in the context, right? So like in a certain context, the way somebody acts or the way somebody looks or whatever, it's different. So it's like I'm always telling people, like, if when you say, oh, I'm not attracted to them because of this, it's like and like you said, there's so many times where the person at first said, oh, I'm not that into them, but once they start talking, they feel it. Because it's amorphous. It's you really can't explain it. And I find so many people, they focus on what the standards of, once again, what will make them look cool if they are with that person, and we mistake that for attraction, right? And I realized, I said, wait a second. If I see somebody and I feel that little thing in my chest where I feel anxious and, oh my God, I don't know what to say, blah, blah, that's not attraction. That's not attraction. Attraction is literally attraction. You are literally pulled to that person. You are literally compelled to be closer to that person without fear, without anxiety. That's attraction. If you're feeling that, that's when you're feeling attracted. If you're feeling the fear, it's usually that you're in that competition mode where you go, oh, this is a highly valued member of society based on our standards, based on the way they look or their perceived status. And I want to have that. And so now I'm going to play the game. And that's where the anxiety comes in. And I really want to help people discern between those two feelings. Because people say, oh, I'm attracted to her. It's like, I don't think you're attracted to her. I think you just want to be known as having her.
You know what? That really hits hard, and it's one of those things where it's like I have even like it's one of the things I have to be vigilant with myself about that, like because it is so easy to think that you conquered, like it's one of the things I've been really watchful for myself is like falling back into old paradigms using different words. So like because I like even earlier this year, there was somebody I fancied in that way that it was like it was so meaningful, symbolically meaningful, that right, like it's like, oh, this relationship, if it worked out with this person, would be cathartic for my life narrative and what it represents to me in this weird abstract game that I'm playing. And because and I love that the way you worded that was so perfect, because it literally is, it's not actual attraction. It's just trying to possess, and possession is always insecure, not in that it makes you insecure. It's just that you can't, the reality is always changing, and your brain is aware of this. So the more you feel like you need something to be possessed by you in order to have access to a cathartic experience, the more anxiety you're going to feel, because your brain is aware that it literally could go away at any moment. And you're right. It's just,
we don't own anything.
No. And it just gets so far in the way of the experience, because what ends up happening is you end up wanting to hide parts of yourself too, right? Because it becomes sort of like this weird interview thing where you're like trying to get something, and you're like, oh, like I need to appear as perfect. And so it just, I just want everybody in the chat to like really take note. That was a masterclass, and people die without that insight. And that's one of the things I think is really important about podcasts like yours, is like, dude, there are people who literally killed themselves because they didn't have this message there. And like, it's the sad thing about the dating industry is like, dude, like when you meet people at some people are at a really dark time, and they have everything else worked out, and they're at the last thing. And it's like, because we as a culture have put such an emphasis on romantic transcendence, right? Almost every movie you've watched comes with a transcendent romantic moment, which might not have had any point even in the movie. The guy gets the girl though, and that is the emblem of success. And even though everyone knows that movies are made up, we don't understand that you knowing that they're made up doesn't change the fact that they create your secret aspirations.
Yes.
One of the things I've been pointing out to people recently is I had a friend of mine, he grew out a mustache, and he's like, man, I live in Brooklyn. He's like, man, he has a man bun and a mustache. He's like, man, I'm like one of the guys I used to make fun of. Like, you know what I'm saying? And but I was like, but there was some part of you who looked at that and was like, I want to be that, and then did that without your knowledge. And that's the same thing with movies. And that's why you have to keep vigilant. It's not enough to just know that you can do it. It's that you'll feel propelled, and you'll come up with different ways of hiding it. But if the way that I've realized, and it came out of this book called The Singularity of Being, which was an analysis of Lacanian psychology, where if you just in any moment just commit to being honest and not hiding, and if you feel like your value is that you are withholding or anything like that, you want to work against that feeling. Because you thinking that your value comes from withholding yourself means that you want to build a relationship where you have built your value around scarcity. And I'm not saying that it never has worked for anybody. It definitely has worked for people, but they don't end up having the relationship that we secretly crave, which is just someone to be around that loves our presence. And if you build your value around scarcity, it's just never, even if that person would want that with you, you won't let that land with you, because you have manipulated yourself into believing that you need to be scarce in order for this person to value you.
And, something else you mentioned about, watching movies is, I really think most of all this does come from culture, from music, from movies, from TV, to the point where now, and I don't know, have you ever gotten into like Eckhart Tolle?
No, but I've done a meditation and I'm familiar with some of his work.
He has one part of it in his book where I think it was the question answer section where they were saying like, are you saying like, because I don't have an ego because I shouldn't have an ego and I shouldn't identify with things, that like I can't root for my favorite sports team anymore and get excited about it. And he said, listen, like you're allowed to have like a surface level like identity, you know, like this world identity, while underneath knowing that you're truly not identifying with it. And so it's like now when I watch movies, like I could watch a drama, right? And I could feel so strongly for a character that is like dealing with some relationship issues and like really feel bad and go, oh my God, that's so sad. But underneath, I know it's all bullshit. I know it's just a story. I know it holds no grounding in reality. I know that as soon as the movie's over, I'm going to live with my own values that I know are the healthy ones. And I think, like you said, it's so important to be vigilant about that, because it's so easy to just fall into that, because it's literally our culture. It is the culture.
Yes, and one of the things too is that like part of the thing we get exposed to survivorship bias with relationships and thoughts. So like one of the things that I've been thinking about, just on a similar like meditation kind of wavelength, is like your thoughts. Like just because you make an association in your head, or there is a synchronicitous moment that happens around somebody or something, doesn't mean anything about the future. And we also, you know, and this is something that I need to keep telling myself, but it's that the intensity of your feelings are not evidence of destiny, right? Like that, like you can have really intense feelings and they literally mean nothing about what is going to happen. And the reason we feel like those things are that is because of lines in movies, or because they were spectacular stories. Like the reason it's so cool whenever you hear that somebody knew that they were going to marry this person is because that never fucking happens.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Exactly.
That's why it's special. And so it's just really important to like just approach those things. And it's funny that you had talked about that, because I decided to become a Knicks fan this year. I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be a Knicks fan. I'm gonna be but the whole time I'm in on the joke.
Yes.
Right. Like that's the thing, is to be on the inside of it, but also be fully invested. And the more you kind of have this relationship with meditation or the splintering of yourself, you can do that, because you realize that there are many different versions of you operating within yourself. And the more you can kind of just basically not compartmentalize, but have a relationship with all these ones, you don't get caught up in these consuming narratives of like, I need to lose my virginity, or why don't I have a girlfriend? And sometimes you don't have a girlfriend because you actually don't want one. And so you pick impossible women because you actually might enjoy being alone, or you might have a problem masturbating, or whatever. Like there might be a whole host of things, but like sometimes if it doesn't make sense on why you're single, maybe ask yourself, why do I pick people that are impossible? Right? Because what value am I getting out of the circumstance that I'm in? Because you might actually be a lot happier than you're allowing yourself to be.
I love that. Somebody in the chat said, if Bill started a YouTube channel, I'd watch all his vids. The education is mad. Well, I mean, you can watch his TikTok.
Yeah. And I need to get back on YouTube. This has been just like the best.
Yeah, YouTube's
Where are
fun.
you, Anthony?
I'm in LA. You mean physically?
Okay. Yeah, physically.
And you know, also going back to the friend zone, and I mean, everything you were just saying right there too is, you know, I have clients that I work with all the time, and they get so attached to, you know, a woman that they're friends with, and they get so upset when they realize that it's not going to turn into a relationship. And it's literally because when we get deep down into it, they literally are living the relationship in their head. So they're having their fantasy is living out the relationship with the woman or the man in their head while it's not in real life. So when they realize that it's never actually going to happen, there's such a depression, almost like, you know, like a death in the family, where you are literally breaking off this person, breaking off the relationship in your head. And so they get depressed so hard because of that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you're mourning a life that never happened. Dude,
Yes.
it's like literally the thing is it's so easy for that to even happen, even if you're dating a person. Like that's it's so those things of building up the fantasy or building up the thing or especially whenever you think that things are supposed to happen at a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
like and so you're like, oh, like I'm like 33 now, and so like I need to meet who I need to marry now, and then so
Yeah.
all of a sudden every woman in your life, because they were just simply around you at a certain age where you feel the pressure of society to get engaged, you then build up narratives in your head of how it's going to work out with this person.
Mm.
And it's just like, and like for me, I always am like reflective because it's so easy because I've had such a bad habit of doing it. I still do. I talked to a woman I used to date yesterday on the phone, and she moved back to the city. It was a great call, and I was like, "What happens if?" And I'm like, "Dude, you don't want to invest in this snowball of ideas,
Mm.
right? This person's awesome. Let's see, but beyond that, we're not going to spend a lot of time, kind of rehashing a fantasy in the meantime, because
Okay.
it's just like that." Mhm.
All right. So what I want to know is, because it sounds like you are good at that, and I'm good at that, but it took me a lot of work. So like
Same.
I think there's a lot of people that watch this and they go, okay, well, like, how do you do that? Because I could tell myself that, but I won't do it. So like, how do you
Mhm.
do it, Bill?
So one of the first things is, and I think this is a great question, is realizing that your thoughts are made up
Mm-hmm.
and that you can just literally pull the curtain on them, imagine that you're kicking those thoughts out of your head and start with a clean sheet. And once you understand that like your thoughts aren't actually that important, there are tons of things that you think about that don't actually have, that you never do or anything like that. That's the first step for me, is creating that separation between me and my thoughts. Then beyond
Mm.
that is actually seeing, like, kind of, I like to write because sometimes we think a lot about something because we're calling friends trying to talk about something because we're trying to reach a point within the conversation that isn't built for a conversation. You have 1,800 words to say about how you feel about this thing,
Mm.
and you're only getting 400 words out in this conversation. And you also have to get the other person's input. This is why I always recommend write essays for your friends, right? Like if you're going through some emotional relationship stuff, just write out an entire essay, send it to your close friends or whatever, not a letter to them or whatever, so they get your thoughts, and then you guys can actually see what's coming up, right?
Mm.
Because sometimes you're stopping short because like you don't realize what's all the interplay. You don't realize like, oh, like the reason I feel this strongly is she looks like Avril Lavigne, and I came up at that same time,
Mm.
and I'm placing an overimportance on our story because we used to be best friends. And wouldn't that be cool if I remember seeing a movie like this? And I'm embarrassed about my feelings because I feel like they're not reciprocated because I never feel like I'm chosen. But that's actually not true. People do choose me, but I lose interest almost when that happens. And like if you explore all those out and everything like that, at least you can say like, wow, there's a lot here. And that story, right? That story that kind of keeps bubbling up in your head is completely outside of you, and that way you can then interact with it.
Wow. Yo, that's beautiful. And, you know, I realize in my 20s, I did that. I literally wrote out my experiences and
Mm-hmm.
kind of analyzed how I was feeling, why I felt that way during this
Yeah.
experience. And that makes so much sense. And also to people that are not as easily able to kind of dive in their feelings. Like I'm the type of person where I'm like really good at doing like a recon mission into my feelings. Like go in
Mm-hmm.
there, figure out what am I feeling right now? Why is this happening? Why did that happen? Oh, it's this. Oh, okay, good. And then like getting out of there as fast as possible before I start, like overthinking and stuff. Where there's a lot of people that are just their personality is not made up that way, where they're more
Mm-hmm.
focused on other things rather than like the ability to kind of go in their emotions. So writing it down is amazing. Like I love that tip, is to like literally write an essay. I mean, you could send it to a friend, but if that feels uncomfortable, you don't have to send it to a friend.
Yep.
You know, you could literally just type it up in a journal and say, okay, this interaction happened here. And the thing that I always would do is I would always go, but why? Why did I do that? Or why do I feel this way? And so it's like when you're writing that down, like, write, okay, well, why? And then answer the question. Why did I feel this way? Why? Okay, here's the answer. And keep doing that. Oh, damn, dude, that's really good. I love that.
No, and it's so funny how we just have a lot of pure experiences, because that happened to me too, where I was just like writing stuff down, and it was even how I got into the space, because I was like writing blog posts, I was writing on forums.
That's what I was doing.
And of course, those times I had weird tools, because you have the tools of the forum, so you'd end up being like, but like when all of those start to go away, and you do ask that persistent why, and you end up. Another thing I like to do is I like to look at myself from the third party perspective. So because sometimes we get addicted to our own subjectivity. So like you have all this narrative in your head. I try to jump out and look at what has actually happened in the physical world. Right. And from that perspective, you know, it's not that perspective is the dominant one, because our subjective experience is important. But sometimes I've had this happen where I'm like so caught up in my subjective experience, I'm realizing objectively nothing has actually happened, right? Like you sent, let's say this, like sometimes this is the one example of this is like let's say you send a text to somebody that you like and they don't get back to you. Subjectively, it might feel like the meaning you're trying to pull out of this is like, it's so intense, right? You're like, this means this means this. Number one, there are tons of different lenses that you can pull the meaning out of, from the situation. But the other part is like, what actually happened? You send a message, they didn't respond. That's it. Wow. They could have, and don't let it sometimes be more than that, because it's not, dude, there are tons of people like where like, you know, they didn't respond to me a few times, and then we end up having like a beautiful relationship 8 months later. You know, it's like things aren't what you're trying to pull out of them. And so like to kind of, because I think sometimes one of the things my therapist said to me was, William, do you feel like you know everything? And I said, of course, no. And then she's like, so I want you to try this. I want you to keep an open mind. This is our first session, that the thing that might be the key to your happiness might be in a space where is an unknown, right? You might not know what actually might make you happy at this point. And that was really important for me, because I feel like a lot of us intellectually know we don't know everything, but we participate in the world as if we do, right? And so we'll be like, oh shit, that happened. I know exactly why it happened. It was because of these reasons. Well, then after you write down your base reasons, what are all the reasons you don't think it could be, right? Like, and then start playing with it, and you realize that it's a stupid game. And it's a stupid game rather than just asking. Just ask. Like a lot of times too, you can just cut through all of this by being like, hey, like, do you like me? like that's, you know, like I'm going on a date on Saturday, and I was like, you know, I have a huge, do you like me? Do you want to go on this date? Yeah. You know, and this is after I shot my shot and it failed, and we were going on this date, because part of it is just being honest. Yes. And being like, hey, this is where I'm at. And it feels terrifying, but what you have to realize is that humiliation and embarrassment you feel right beforehand, that is you protecting your weakness, right? The wanting to hide is you protecting where you should actually be exposing. And that way you can actually learn where you're actually hurt, whether or not any of your inferences are correct. And for a lot of people I know who are seeking help in the dating realm, a lot of people are really hyper self-aware and very self-critical. So a lot of the inferences you make actually aren't correct. Yes. They're actually slanted so far in the pessimistic range because you're addicted to self-improvement. Yeah. That you don't really let it land. That like actually it might even be the opposite. She might ignore you because she's just trying to like she's nervous. Yes. And she didn't know what to say, and then now it's been too long and she doesn't want to seem like she's playing games. You don't know. Yes. Right. And so it's just like you want to get in a space where you want to just find out and get clarity. Yes. Dude, this is everybody. Like so many people that I talk to, so many people that I work with, they already have the answer. They have the answer before they've even thought all of the possibilities.
And like, I love that because they're obsessed with self-improvement. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And you know, another funny thing that happens is like, I'll have clients text me and go, well, he didn't respond. She didn't respond. What do I do? I go, how long was it since you texted? It was like a half hour or like an hour. And I'm like, all right. Always give it
Yeah.
like, give it at least a day before we could start thinking about stuff. All right. Like,
Yeah.
like literally people will freak out after an hour.
No, and it's because we have been taught to believe that these things are meaningful about who we are, and that might be an inextricable problem. Like you might have lacked the constitution. One thing I've seen bubble up with me, friends, people I've worked with is that they are afraid that there is something that is deeply wrong with them and that can't be fixed. And so they're looking, if any type of rejection narrative is available, they start looking for validation of that truth, that they're secretly unacceptable. And that's their deep fear, and that it would have already happened already. That's like the other thing where people are like, well, why hasn't it just happened yet? It must mean something. No, it literally just means it hasn't happened yet. And one of the things that's really interesting is how whenever you start having success, you realize you end up looking back and you're like, I had so many people who were into me and I
Yes.
just didn't realize it because I was looking for the wrong signs, or I didn't believe in myself, or I got scared. There's a lot of people who get scared and they're like, it's going well and they don't want to ruin it. So they're like, oh, leave now. And then I'll hit them up tomorrow. And then that's when, and it's just like, just stay and see where things go. But people get so frightened that they might ruin a moment or ruin a memory. And it's like, if you stop taking yourself so seriously, no matter what happens, like, no matter what happens, you can end up laughing about it later. Right. Like that's I think a big part of this is like not taking yourself seriously on this journey, because people approach dating as if it's so serious. It's like,
Yeah.
hey man, you're gonna, there are some things, some miscommunication, some confusion, sometimes where everything goes bad, where it's actually just really funny. And if you
Yes.
can just help yourself see the humor in that, you can begin feeling lighter. And then you won't have these feelings of shame or embarrassment around something that's just supposed to bring you joy.
Dude, we have to mint this interview into an NFT.
Yeah.
That's that's how valuable it is.
Yes.
You know, when you keep talking, all of these things keep popping into my head. One of them is, you know, I think it was like last week I was doing a stream and somebody came on to ask me a question about their dating life, and she was going, oh, well, you know, I'm like having problems with dating. I'm seeing this one guy, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm seeing this other guy. And then I'm like, all right. And then as I do, I like, you know, I ask my questions. I want to really figure out what's going on. And at the end of it, and she might even be watching right now. At the end of it, I go, where's the problem? You're dating two guys. One asked you out and you haven't responded to him. The other one says that he wants to come visit you and you never followed up with him on that. Where's the problem? Everything's great with you. And she goes, oh, I guess you're right. There was literally nothing wrong. But it was all in her head, the worry of like, oh my God, something's wrong. Oh God, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yes. Well, so dude, this is so I'm having so many thoughts. I love that you brought this up because so one of the things I've been doing a lot of writing about is the role of anticipation and how important it is for us to feel like our lives have meaning. But as a culture, we tend to interpret anticipation with dread, right? Like, oh, like because I don't know, because there's this uncertainty, it's not like, oh, what could happen? It's always, oh, I don't know what could happen. And that is actually robbing us of a really great part of life. Like there's this guy I follow on TikTok named Francis Bourgeois, and he is a train spotter. He has 1 million followers, and he goes and he waits for trains to come all over England, and then he waves at the train drivers, and if they honk, he gets so happy and excited.
Wow.
But part of the reason he gets so happy and excited is because it was this anticipation of whether or not they would wave back. And they did. And that's realized. And I think that a lot of times in dating, people just, it's like, dude, you actually want this feeling of uncertainty. It's actually what makes you feel alive.
Yeah,
There
it's
isn't
exciting.
anything wrong. It is actually exciting. And sometimes, you know, sometimes we don't want more and we feel guilty. And the other thing, the reason is I feel like English, just the grammar of English and how we think about things, we tend to think of things solely existing as problems. Like there was this something I read where it's like Western philosophy looks at problem as life as a problem waiting to be solved, and Eastern philosophy tends to look at life as a mystery that will reveal itself. And kind of constantly looking through things as if there are always problems means that you're perpetually going to have problems, rather than, oh, things are just going to slowly reveal themselves. That's the weight of that. There is nothing that actually needs to happen. Just time needs to move forward, right? There is nothing to solve. And so, but we're so addicted. That's, if you want to make lots of money, you solve a problem. You find a problem in the world, and then you solve it. You know, but that's how we think, and it's the structure of it. So we can't even let it land that, wow, two guys I'm interested in really like me. And you know, and I can't wait to see what happens. And it's so easy for us to do. And but yeah, anticipation is what we live for. I even came up with a word of like that I say whenever anticipation is realized, where I say anticipa. It's dumb, but I'm like, because literally is just because sometimes moments are so seamless that if you don't recognize that you just had your anticipation realized, you might just never realize that you're actually having a lot of the things you want to have happen in life happen.
Dude, yes. And this kind of reminds me of back to Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now. He talks about how like cats, he believes, are like the most enlightened teachers, you know, you could ever have. And then he talks about how like a cat will literally sit waiting at the mouse hole all day long, but just calmly, but with complete attention and presence, without anxiety. Just sit there all day long and just wait for it calmly. And it reminded me of when you talked about the train spotter.
Yeah, no, and I can totally see that image right now. Like, just the hunting, just being aware of that thing, and just letting it realize, and I think that's part of why people choose, like, or let me not speak for people. Let me not speak universally when I'm talking about myself. I think part of the reason why I've even chosen relationships that have been difficult in the past, or people to chase that might have been a difficult situation, was because I like trying to gesture towards, but in a mangled way, like you had talked about in the red pill kind of thing, where it's like, I'm trying to get access to this anticipation, but I've actually just picked someone who's impossible so that I can create this massive fantasy that never has to really interact with reality, right? And so there's no catharsis, but there's also no, it's a story that never has to end either, right?
Yes.
And so I can just constantly paint and write about this narrative, and it's like, it's never going to be realized one way or another, but in the same way, I'm always frustrated.
All right, let's take a step out of our talk, because we could be doing this for hours and hours. Let's have a bit of fun. Have you seen
Awesome.
Have you seen the video clip of when you know the show Adam Ruins Everything?
No.
Okay. This guy, he has this show called Adam Ruins Everything. His name's Adam whatever. And he goes on Joe Rogan. And there was an episode on Adam Ruins Everything where he basically disproves the alpha male theory.
Oh, yeah.
But what happens is he goes on Joe Rogan and he talks about it. But what happens is, well, actually, you want to watch the video?
Yeah. Is it the one where?
Hold up. Let me pull it up. And what you could do is go onto my stream, mute the Zoom, and then like turn on the stream volume, and then we could watch it together.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Awesome. Hold on 1 second.
I'm gonna pull it up. because this video is so funny to me. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna mute everything right now. Pull up that clip, Jamie. See, I don't have a Jamie yet. I think he's watching. Bill, if you're watching, give me a thumbs up. I don't know if he's watching. All right. Anyway, I'm going to just hit play. Wait, are you watching? Okay, cool. The Joe Rogan Experience.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Another one people got really mad about. This is weirdly the one we got the biggest reaction to. And to the extent that I'm a little hesitant talking about it because it always starts a shitstorm every time I do.
Vaccines?
No, actually, we've not done a whole one on vaccines, but we really should because it's coming back. I used to think that vaccines was like kind of done as a topic, and like we've gone through it. It is really back, and it is big. But no, we did one on alpha males. We did an episode about dating. And we did one on how the idea of the alpha male doesn't exist in humans. Like if you talk to any anthropologist, any biologist, any sociologist, right, and be like, are humans organized in a social relationship where there's alphas and betas? They'll be like, no, what are you talking about? This is an unscientific idea, right? And we just did something laying that out in the context of like people who are, oh, my type is I like alphas, right? Well, there's no such thing actually, you know. Humans are you're dominant in some situations, not in others, right? It's an overly simplistic way of looking at human relationships. And I thought that was a pretty simple, straightforward thing. I was like, this is just a bit of pseudoscience that you hear people tossing out. And people went ballistic on the internet because people have sort of like built a edifice of ideology in their minds about like, there's alphas, there's betas. I'm an alpha. This is what an alpha's like. This is what a beta's like. You know, well,
let's take away the words.
Yeah,
they're clearly men who are more aggressive and athletic and dominant and more confident, and then men who are introverted and shy and more nervous and anxious. And there's a scale
in some situations, you know,
social situations.
Yeah,
and that's what we're talking about, right?
In social, well, yeah, but your social situation could change based on what situation you're in. You know what I mean?
They could,
like,
but like an athletic, confident male is always going to be an athletic, confident male, and an introverted, anxious male who has problems with social anxiety is going to be the same. That's who that person is.
I don't think so necessarily. But so when we're talking about alphas, right? In animals, what is that? It's a social hierarchy, right?
In animals. So let's take away that word. I mean, what people are using to describe when they're saying alphas and betas, they're saying like confident, strong, secure people and people that are anxious and not confident.
So if you're trying to say, hey, like it's good to be confident, it's not so great to be anxious. Like that's fine, right? But when people talk about alpha males and beta males, right, they're specifically bringing in the language of like evolution, of biology, of zoology, of evolutionary psychology, you know, and they'll start saying stuff like, well, there's alphas and there's betas, and women are hardwired to be attracted to the alpha, you know, because that's what it's like in nature. Like they'll be using that language, right? And so what we're pointing out is that's not scientific, right?
It's not scientific, but it is true that women are hardwired to be attracted to confident, athletic men.
I don't know if I agree with that. But
really?
Yeah.
You don't think that women look at like pro athletes and like big, strong, athletic men, and you don't think they're drawn to that for evolutionary reasons?
No, I don't actually. I think that.
Okay, do you think that men are drawn to women with small waists and big hips and large breasts for evolutionary reasons?
You know, I think that's an easy. I think what that is that's an easy intuition to come to if you're like looking at the way people behave, right? But one of the things about evolutionary psychology is it's the most common mistake to look at the way that people do behave and say the reason we behave that way is because evolution says that's the best way, right? That's their argument. For instance, I'll give you an example. That's the argument arguments like that were used, for instance, to justify slavery, right? That like, oh, because, you know, whites and blacks have this hierarchical relationship in American society, that's the way it was intended. That's how nature intended it to be, right? But we can't.
That's a giant leap. We're just talking about like the shapes of bodies. Like men universally are attracted to a certain shape of bodies. There's men that are attracted to different ones. And
I don't think men are universally attracted to the same body.
People vary, but that hourglass shape has been throughout time something that men are attracted to.
I think that hourglass shape is something throughout our recent cultural memory that we tell each other that men are attracted to, right? That's what we're told from an early age to this is the sort of women that men are attracted to. And so a lot of men end up adopting that, right? But I don't think that deep down that's how men naturally are, you know?
Really?
Yeah. I read
this that doesn't make any sense to me. That's so non-intuitive.
But I'm all about things that are non-intuitive.
Where do you think it started? Where do you think this narrative of men being attracted to the woman with large breasts and a small waist and a big ass, where do you think that started? Because this is like evolutionary biology is pretty much settled on the idea that the reason why is the large hips would indicate that the woman would be easier to give birth. Having large breasts and a large ass would indicate that she has she's fertile, and then she has ample fat storage in the right places if she's going to be pregnant and carry children. There's all these like evolutionary biology reasons why people are attracted to certain things. Why a woman would be attracted to a tall, muscular, handsome man, good genetics, very strong and confident, can take care of her. All these things are based on evolutionary biology. So I don't understand why you think these are learned sort of cultural artifacts.
So my question is, this is an assumption that we, the public, make about how evolutionary biology works, right?
Well, it's more of a thing that we sort of agree on.
Well, we as the there's an idea among the public that this is true. I don't know if it's a scientific idea. That's my point.
I've had conversations with evolutionary biologists who explain the reason why men are attracted to certain shapes and why women are attracted to certain shapes. This is sort of, I mean, this is science. I mean, in a way, the reason why they're attracted to tall men that are muscular and confident is because that is what's always saved you throughout history. I mean, it totally makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, just because it makes the point of our show, right, is that just because something makes intuitive sense doesn't mean that it's necessarily true, right?
But don't you think that in this case that this is a varied argument? Like, I don't think that's something that you can dismiss.
I don't dismiss it, but I don't assume the truth of it simply because that's what, you know, everybody agrees upon, right?
But if you ask girls, like, what are you into? And you say, are you into tall, muscular, confident men who are also nice to you? Jesus Christ, it's going to be off the charts. It's going to be like most of them.
I'm really not sure that's the case.
Really?
Yeah.
You think you had like a survey of women, and if the men were equally kind and equally intelligent and friendly, you don't think that more women would be sexually attracted to these tall, handsome men with great bodies?
I mean, look, I'm not gonna say that, like, first of all, you're positing like a value judgment in it that the bodies are great, right? So like, are women attracted to attractive bodies? If that's the question, then I would say
dad
of course.
bods are more attractive to women. Study finds some fucking
what I'm talking
guy
about.
with a dad bod made
Look, here's
that.
something.
All right, so you get the idea. I'm gonna bring Bill back on. I mean, it's just, it is, it's so funny. What up? I think you need to bring your audio back on. Oh, no, I was muted. What's up? Oh, you're still muted too. There you go.
Oh, hey,
We're
what's
back.
up?
All right,
Hey,
cool.
hey.
You watch it?
Yeah, no.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, well, you know what's so funny? The first time I watched it,
Mhm.
like a while ago, after the clip, you pulled up the clip, I realized I was like, "This beta male." Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, really?
I was one of the. I like. Yeah, I totally was like, "Oh, it's totally like that," and that's why like people like growth does happen. But it was so it's so weird because like one of the things when I'm listening to Joe, I'm like, it sounds like you want to date these people.
Yes.
It doesn't really sound. Like
Yeah.
that's the weird part about it is like the way he's describing it. It's just like
It's the male
Timothée
gaze.
Chalamet is,
But
Timothée Chalamet is like 5'10",
Yes.
and skinny, and is dude. Women are going crazy over him.
Yes, it's Harry Styles
so-
and Timothée Chalamet are the most like obsessed over men right now in the world.
Yep. And so when you take a look at that, and it's just like he's even like even the things that he was characterizing as not confident, such as being an introvert, like it's just like, look, like number one, if I don't know, there's it's just this worldview that he wants to be real, and it's just like it's just not that simple. And whenever you're telling somebody it's more complex, the guy's even just saying it's more complex than that.
Yes.
He's like giving Joe tons of ways out, but Joe is just kind of
He was
like,
steamrolling him.
Yes, and it's weird because people, it's just so.
It's a beautiful
it's so
video.
weird to see.
But like,
It is.
In Joe's world, but you have to realize, what is Joe doing all the time? Number one, he's working out. He hosted the Man Show like freaking 10, 15 years ago. He is watching men fight each other. He's constantly talking about their bodies and, how tough they are and how great they were when they won and everything. I mean, that's his world. And in that world, there's people that like that stuff, but that's a certain kind of person. There are so many different kinds of people. There's people that are literally unattracted to that type of person. There's people that are super attracted to more introverted, even a little more anxious people. Now, of course, on a spectrum, when we're looking radically, it's always going to be, like if you can't get out of bed and you're constantly pessimistic and all of that stuff, obviously. But that's, like you could take any example and go radical with it and go, oh, do you like that? And they're going to go, no.
No. And also, here's the thing: is I think one of a good example, like Kanye West is not. Kanye West is, I think, like 5'7", and and Kim Kardashian was before married to a 6'10", but very out, just like he described, and Kim Kardashian chose to be with this 5'7" guy who's not in incredible shape, who just has an immense amount of purpose, like you had mentioned earlier, and drive, right? And so it's just like, even in that circumstance, and dude, Kanye is almost exactly the person that he described in the negative sense.
Yes.
But he's the one person, like, I mean, and it's things are so much more fluid, and that's why I always, like, one of the things I tell people is like, go places where you can shine, right?
Yes.
Like, not everybody's going to shine in every environment. Yeah, Joe sees, a woman looking at Alistair, the UFC fighter who's 6'4", 210 pounds, also, I think there's a large tendency, and this, I saw that you have the Jeff Bezos video with Leo
Yeah.
up, but it's like conflating attention with attraction.
Yeah.
Just because
Yes.
someone is showing
So
someone
true.
attention doesn't mean that they're attracted to that person. And so I think that's always important to remember.
So true. And then talking about women's bodies as well. I mean, being a coach, I mean, talking to so many men, it actually blew my mind to see how varied men's tastes are in women. Like truly like I would be blown away that they were, oh no, you think I'm attracted to her. And then another client, no, are you serious? No, I'm attracted to her. Like, listen, it's like I mean, not to say that this is the standard either, but like, I mean, Joe is ignoring the fact that like supermodels are are valued, and they have no fat on their body whatsoever. They're just sticks. I mean, there's so much variety in people's taste and attraction. And he was going, no, you need this thing. This is what. It's like there's so many different types of people, and there's so many different types of attraction.
Yes. And also like the philosopher Gramsci, he talked about cultural hegemony, where like basically people assume that the culture that they've been in is like a law of nature, that it's always been this way.
Yes.
And so it's just like, no, Joe, you're just responding to the advertising industrial complex.
Yes.
That's not actually like de facto how human beings operate. This is another thing where I tell people, where people are like, human beings are naturally violent. And I'm like, when was the last time you punched somebody?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people, they've never punched anybody or been punched in their entire lives. And so it's like, well, let's say this, when we describe something as being actually nature of being a human being, eating food, drinking water, having sex, those kind of things pop up. But violence, it happens, but it's definitely not of those same properties.
Yeah.
But because violence has been used as a way to basically exert power, we tend to look at it as always being natural, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And that's another thing that I just think needs to always be in the forefront. It was terrifying to me when I realized the depth in which I had been, not that I've been brainwashed, because I think in order to interact with reality, you have to be inculcated in a culture, but how much it had the steering wheel of my decisions and how I viewed the world, and how that wasn't law, right? And some even things that are generational. I was recently dating somebody that was 20, and they're Gen Z, and I'm 31, I'm millennial. And they actually are, there's a lot of cultural differences even there that I assumed wouldn't exist, right? And so it's just really important to always investigate, hey, like, am I describing what is in my cultural setting as universal law, right? Let me take a step back and be like, yeah, and this goes back to another thing that you're saying, is there are women who also pursue guys that they don't even like.
Yes.
Because they feel like they're supposed to. Yeah. And same with men, where there is such an advertising campaign for certain aesthetics, where people will end up constantly choosing people and they're like, I don't know why it hasn't worked out, and they've dated all the same type of person. Well, it's like, maybe your type isn't your type. If you have only dated your type for your entire life and it has not worked out, have you reflected and asked yourself, maybe my type isn't my type? Maybe I am trying to fulfill some fantasy that I was sold at a very young age through this other individual, and I actually maybe don't like these type of people that much, and I'm scared to try something new. But those thoughts really scare us, because we get blinded by how many options there are and how many people we could potentially find attractive.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what you said, is just like, well, you know, just relax in the anticipation rather than trying to fucking figure it out at every moment. What is it? 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 And it reminded me of when I used to do online dating. There was a moment where I put my height in, because I'm only 5'8", and now I don't think I'm short, but I know that, you know, women are generally looking for, you know, taller than that. And so I put my height in, going, you know, I'm just going to filter out everybody that isn't interested in that immediately. And then I realized, wait a second, like, I'm falling for, exactly what I know is wrong. That like, when somebody meets me, they're not meeting a height. They're meeting this ball of Anthony. And Anthony at this height, with this face, with this personality, all mixed together in this unique way, can attract somebody differently than if I was this height, or if I had this personality, or if I had these different features. And it's like, so I removed the height thing. And and literally, if people were disappointed, whatever, people are going to be disappointed with me anyway if they go on dates. But for me to filter that out, I'm sure there were people that went on a date and at first were like, oh, he's only 5'8", but then later on was like, I don't give a shit. Actually, it's kind of cool, or whatever, or just like the way he owns it, or whatever.
Yeah, and
I know,
just in my experience.
I know women, before you go on. Yeah. But there's women and men that told me these stories where they go, at first I didn't, whatever, but like, I actually am attracted to them because they have this feature, and because they own it so well.
Yes, and the repeated buy-in, right? Like right? Like you spend enough time exposure to somebody, like, because like a lot of things that we tend to want is just because we've had tons of exposure, whether that's through media or whether it's through school or whatever. But if you spend a lot of time with you're spending time with somebody, and that they might it slowly, and you're in the context of dating, and you're like, well, I'm still here. Why? And then you're like, well, maybe I do like them, right? And that's the thing. And the height thing is so interesting, because the people I've known who've had a lot of dating success have been not taller guys, and it's because one of the weird things is like there's this kind of like weird rites of passage I've seen a lot of my friends had to go through, but they end up becoming just really awesome people, and then that's it. Then they have dates every day of the week, and it's all of these other things. Yeah, and I do think we tend to overvalue advantages that we don't possess. Right,
the grass is always greener.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we think because, and also this is a thing that happens a lot of times, you don't see yourself getting checked out as a person, because people are aware of where your eyes are when they check you out, but you're probably getting checked out a bunch. And when you're looking around, you probably see people checking out other people, because it's all about this eye movement. So it's just know that like a lot of times you're probably getting checked out and you just don't even know it. Yeah. And you're probably only looking for people to check out the people like that have your insecurity or whatever like that. But attraction's a lot more egalitarian than people want it to than they want to believe. Especially as we get older.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, because I think as we get older, because when we're young, we've learned we're learning. We're kind of like, oh, well, this is like this. Boys are like this. Girls are like this. And so this is what a pretty girl is. This is what a good-looking guy is, etc. And so then we want to, fall into that structure. But then when we get older, we're just like, listen, I just want to be with somebody. I just want to be with somebody that, I could love. I was going to say something and I completely forgot about it.
Anthony, I actually do have to go. Cool. Sorry. But this has been just the best time.
Dude, it was so great. And I'm coming to New York in December. We should get together. You're in New York?
Dude, we should. Yeah, I'm in New York. We should definitely get together. I go back to Texas from the 23rd to 29th. Okay. But like beyond that, let's hang out.
Yeah, I'll be in New York at that time. I mean, the time when you're back.
Okay, awesome.
Great. Thanks so much for coming on, bud. Yeah, it's
everybody
really,
in the chat.
Yeah.
Been great. Thank you. And it's been awesome.
Yeah, I had a hunch, man, but it ended up even being better than I thought.
I had a great time.
It's like man, I'm really impressed by you, and like I just love listening to you, and it's to the point where like I have I have to like open up my brain hole a little wider, because I'm not used to this much like knowledge, just shooting into it.
No, dude, the same. And I really loved how you described a lot of the things earlier, especially whenever you're talking about the process of fantasy and the building up and things like that. That was just really something that I just needed to hear in the way that you put it together. So I really appreciate you, man. I can't wait for us to hang out next month.
That's gonna be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna be really fun, man. All right, great talking to you. Let's chat soon. Later, dude. By the way, I said let's chat soon to him. That was really embarrassing for me to say that. I said let's chat soon. See, I just made a new friend, and then I said let's chat soon. I'd love to know what people thought of this interview. I mean, I'm seeing general good reviews by Bill. When I saw his TikTok, I was like, nobody talks like this. What the fuck is happening? It's all red pill bullshit. And then when I saw him, I was like, whoa. It's so clear. Everything he's saying is just like so parallel with everything I've been talking about. And I feel like I've been alone. It's either one side where it's like alt-right red pill crazy shit, or like dating, relationship, social skills advice is just like really basic, boring, cheesy stuff that like you'll read in like Cosmo. And so when I saw what he was saying, I was like, dang, man. Yeah, thanks so much everybody for, saying all that in the chat. Yeah, he's really cool. But let's get to our next story tonight. Our main story, which is Leonardo DiCaprio facing off with Jeff Bezos. Let's get into the real hard-hitting shit, everyone. Let's first just watch the video, I'd say. I think that's an important thing that we should do. Just first watch this video. Oops. Okay. There we go. And I could turn off the sound too to it. All right. So this is the video that's gone viral in the last week. And how could I not react to this? This here, if people don't know by now, this here is Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, or one of them, owns Amazon. Leonardo DiCaprio, probably the most famous, iconic celebrity actor there is today. And in the middle, that woman is, pretty sure her name is Laura Sanchez. She is the new girlfriend of Jeff Bezos. Now, this gets really interesting after this video when we start deep diving. And I'll bet you there's stuff that you didn't know about the context of what's going on here. But first, I just want to break down the interaction because it's just fun. It's a fun thing. But by the way, Jeff and Laura have been dating not very long. This is a new relationship. Jeff just got a divorce. Okay, let's watch this. Okay, so I'm imagining this is as soon as they meet. Already, they're kind of embracing. Leo is on a step right now. So, I mean, he's not like a fucking 1 to 2 feet taller than them. Laura is entranced, like smiling ear to ear. And why wouldn't she? I mean, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. All the way she's looking, the way she's turning, mod on. That is signaling a lot of, things. And what is all this like? That's so theatrical. How Leo is like, he's like, and you, if you do what all this like theatrical stuff. I mean, he's being charismatic right there. He's being a little charming. And so something interesting that I found, because, you know, Leo's probably leading them somewhere right now to have a chat. What is all, like, those that hand movements are so interesting. And when you said this, I said, well, let me show you this. But I want you to watch Leo's left hand. So his hand that's hugging Laura right now. Watch this hand. Not this hand, the other hand. Watch this. Did you see that right there? Oh, fuck. Sorry, guys. See, I'm new at this. I need a producer. All right, let's do this again. Watch Leo's left hand. Not this hand. That hand. Did you just see what he did right there? Tell me what you guys think I'm seeing. What is that? Did you see that? Oh, by the way, baby, is Tashi watching right now? Is my girlfriend watching right now? Honey, who do you see in this video? I am 90% sure it's him. If my girlfriend's watching this, Tashi, who do you see in this video? This has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but this is something funny, like kind of an inside joke between me and my girlfriend. Anyway, what is his left hand doing? So by the way, my girlfriend just chimed in. That's Goldstein. So this is this old rich guy, and he's so weird. And my girlfriend used to be like, she still is, like a celebrity interviewer. And she interviewed him. And he has this mansion in LA, and he has like a lot of movies being filmed in there. Big Lebowski was filmed in there. A lot of music videos were filmed in there. But he's like a very, very awkward, old, kind of creepy, pretty creepy man. And my girlfriend just did like a story on him. So she like went to his house and interacted with him. But he's like a celebrity for no reason. And he's always at these events. And we don't know really how he makes his money, but he's the guy with the hat that you see in the top right. But yes, Gilana says he reached out to hold her hand. And what he was doing, I mean, I admit he was being a gentleman by grabbing her hand to go up a step because she's wearing heels, which is the gentlemanly thing to do, right? Yes, I get it. And you could even do that while the partner is there. That's not like a bad thing. That is a gentlemanly thing to do. Like if you watch old movies, that's what would happen too. And I watch a lot of old movies. But still, I mean, you see all of this. He's doing his little, and let me tell you this, and it's not like that. Let me show you guys. Let me show you. Come here. And then he grabs the hand, but she didn't grab his hand back. I just found that really funny. I really want to look at Jeff's face. I mean, this. Oh, and here's another thing I just noticed, by the way. She sees his hand and she doesn't grab it. So Laura saw Leo's hand and then didn't grab it. Watch this. Oh, stupid. Here we go. No, I know that Leo isn't actually going to, steal her away from Jeff. But it's a funny interaction. But watch. I'm going to watch you. Boom. She sees the hand. He puts it out open. She sees it. She does not grab it. Now, is she holding Jeff's hand? Never let go, Ricky says. No, wait, I couldn't tell. Hold on. I really can't tell here. I don't think she's holding Jeff's hand right there. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, so the story gets better. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen Jeff Bezos' response to this kind of viral video on Twitter. I don't know. Has anyone seen this? This is Jeff saying, Leo, come over here. I want to show you something. He tags Leo, and then he's hanging out danger, steep cliff, fatal drop, which is pretty funny. But let's actually get into the story behind these two people, Jeff and Laura. There is a Business Insider article. And we get to learn how they got together. So, okay. Who is Laura Sanchez? So she's basically she's kind of like I think a news reporter on some channel, but let's look. 2019, the beginning of 2019, Jeff and his wife got a divorce. Okay. Got it. Makes sense. Hours later, it was found that Jeff was having an affair with Laura. It looks like, I don't know why tonight I'm like so choppy, guys. I'm so sorry about that. It really sucks. I got to figure this out and fix it. She's a longtime anchor of Good Day LA on Fox 11. Oh, wow. So the way that Jeff met her was through the CEO of WME, a talent agency. And so Bezos knew Patrick Whitesall and then met his wife. And then they got together. Oh, thanks, Aldous. And then what happened is the National Enquirer conducted a 4-month investigation into Bezos and Sanchez's relationship and obtained texts and photos the couple had sent together. The Enquirer said it gotten hands on raunchy messages and erotic selfies, including a text that reportedly read, "I love you, alive girl." And we heard about that. Blah, blah, blah. So Jeff Bezos thought he was being blackmailed. Oh, whoa. So, they were both having an affair at the same time. And then they made, they went public. They went public. Public. A really, really public. Spending a lot of time together. Okay. Okay, so they're engaged. They bought an estate together in Beverly Hills. Yeah. Well, they believe that the brother tried to blackmail him. Laura's brother. Bezos stepped down as CEO. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So, this is interesting. Now, it was exactly what I was about to go into. Anne says, yikes, what's your opinion on relationships starting with affairs? I would suspect both would easily cheat. I agree. So, I'm not against getting into a relationship started on an affair. I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. If they're not married. If they're married, I think it's pretty bad. But again, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But that's personally me. But, and that's a big but, is if that happens, if you do get into a relationship based on an affair, you must now know that that is the type of person that gets into a relationship through an affair. That jumps from relationship to a relationship, starts a relationship while they're in another. You must know that that happens. So, what I find interesting is we know that Laura is the type. Where was I here? Oh, I have the link. Hold on. We know that Laura's the type to already be kind of climbing the ladder of men. You know, the man that runs a huge talent agency to the richest man in the world. And so, do I believe that this is an out of context video? I don't. I do believe, based on history, that Laura was putting out her vibe to Leo. I believe that Laura has no scruples in this area of her life. That she will just jump ship to the next best thing she could find. Going, what's cooler, Jeff Bezos or Leonardo DiCaprio? Now, I think, once again, this is a personality thing. This doesn't have to do with men or women. This is a habit. This is kind of like a... I have a feeling that, like, if somebody has killed someone before, the idea of killing somebody is now, like, within their reality. It's kind of like when I was reading this non-smoking book that got me to quit smoking. They said, who are the types of people that become smokers? Somebody that smokes a cigarette for the first time. Those are the people that are most likely to become smokers. If you have never smoked a cigarette in your life, you have such a low chance of becoming a smoker. I just feel like there's something that becomes unlocked in your brain once you do something where you go, oh, well, I did that. And that's now part of my world, my reality, something that I'm capable of. And so I believe that people that do kind of jump from affair to affair while they're in a relationship, in their brain, it's kind of unlocked. They have unlocked this ability. as opposed to somebody that has never done that. It's just much, much, much less likely that they will do it. And to me, yeah, let's be rational here and go, well, yeah, I mean, come on. Even if me and my girlfriend were at this event and we met Leo, or, you know, whoever, Brad Pitt would be my girlfriend's guy. I would expect her to look at Brad the way that Laura is now looking at Leo. I would expect that. That's like her childhood crush, Brad Pitt. And I would be completely fine with it. I would be excited for her. So, like, if we're getting, like, rational here, like, we get it. He's, like, a huge celebrity. I mean, he's been in movies since he was a kid. He's been huge since he was a kid. Everyone loves him. He's universally loved. I get it. Right? But once you dive a little deeper, and then you realize, wait a second, she's literally just got done doing this. So did Jeff. He literally just got done doing this a couple years ago. It makes more sense now. And now that you know that story, like, let's rewatch the video, right? You know, like the way that she's puffing out her chest, the way, you know, fluttering her eyes. You see how that eye flutter? See that little shake of her. I look so ridiculous acting like, you know, a sexual woman. All right, ready? This, looking up like this, and then all that. That is clear as day, I mean, what she's doing. And then his little, his dramatic experience. And then my favorite part of this is just when Leo puts out his hand, like, obviously I'm going to be a gentleman, but also I'm going to, you know, showboat this moment right now. Grab the hand. She sees it. She goes, not yet. That's a little much. It's a little too far. She's an expert. I'd love to know what you guys think. Zartho says Anthony approves of emotionally cheating. No, I don't. But, like, do I put it in the world's worst things to do? And here's the reason why. Because there's been stories that people have told me where, like, they were in a relationship and it was a bad relationship, and they met somebody during the relationship they were in that ended up being their person, you know, the person that they ended up with for the rest of their life. Now, I'm not saying that, like, I don't remember if these examples were like cheating, but, you know, like starting the friendship with the person and getting to know them, that happens. And sometimes you're in a bad relationship. Sometimes you're in a relationship that isn't, you know, whatever it is. So it's like, yeah, obviously I don't approve of that, but, like, I just don't, I do want people to get into the right relationships. That's what I do want. Do I want a serial cheater? Do I want a serial affairer? Obviously not. I'd love to know what you guys think about this video, about the context of it, knowing how Jeff and Laura got together. Interesting stuff to me. Okay. And if that is it, nobody's in the Zoom right now. So that means nobody wanted to do a mock date tonight or ask me any questions. If anybody does want to do that, do a little mock date, ask me questions, whatever, let me know in the chat. Now, if you maybe want to do it for next time, because I stream every Tuesday and Thursday, in the description of this live stream right now, there is an actual application to come on, and I'll send you an email with a link to get on the Zoom and to ask me a question, to go on a mock date, which is like a fake date you can go on with another viewer. It's in the link in the description, Ty. But I'm going to pop the Zoom link in the... Let's see what time it is, because I have to coach in a little bit. Okay. I'm going to put this link in the chat. Hold up. Okay. So, there it is. There you go. Anybody that wants to jump in the Zoom, you can ask me some questions. We'll hang out. I don't suppose there'll be enough for a mock date, and that's okay. But I'd love to answer any questions anybody has. Let's check the Zoom. Meanwhile, I'll jump into the Reddit. Here we go. Will Bill Petit flake on Anthony again? 3 said he better not. 2 said yes. Holy shit. This is the Reddit. If anybody wants to go to the Reddit, have a little fun, whatever. Whoa, wait a second. Oh no, I thought I was able to control the... Nothing. If anybody wants to hang in the Reddit, link is in the description of this video. We have a couple people in here. So I'm going to admit a Catherine. Yo.
Hey, it's me again.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. So what are you up for tonight?
I'll just ask a question.
Cool. What's up?
Okay, so I've this question for days now, and then every time it comes to these shows, I'm like, what was I gonna ask again? Did I have a question? Now I'm like, okay, I got a question.
Nice.
So you know how it's like common thing that people are always saying, like, oh, just be friends with people, just like start off dating, like being friends with people, this and that. The problem that I have is that I end up falling for whoever is spending the most time with me. And when I was in college, and I've had this problem like for the past 10 years, like it's a common trend. And when I was in college, I ended up just like dating all my friends that were spending so much time with me and everything. And now that I'm older, like I'm 28, like I've been dating for a bit now, and I'm like, I feel like it's hard for me to even start being friends with people because I'm like afraid that I'm gonna like fall for them without having like compatibility like on the same level. And now, like, when I am even going on, like, Hinge dates and stuff, I'm afraid to even, like, start being friends with this person if I'm not sure that we're compatible. Because, like, I've been in long relationships before with people that I was friends with when we weren't, like, on the same compatibility. So that's an issue that I keep having over and over again.
Okay. So this is a really interesting question. I've never gotten this. But what I'd want to know is, why do you fall for people that you just spend time with?
I mean, I think that it's kind of like in the relationships that I have consistently been in, it is like a pretty much friendly type of relationships where I'm just doing the same things with them that I would do with my regular friends anyway.
Yeah.
And then I'm so excited that I have this person that we're so close with, that we're attracted to each other, that we like to do all these same things.
Yeah.
So then I want to be in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
But then the compatibility isn't always there, and eventually it ends up falling apart.
Okay, so what's the compatibility that's not there?
Part of it is like religion. Part of it is like wanting, having different like career goals. Part of it is like living in different, like eventually like one of us moves away or stuff like that.
Okay. So what's the religion?
Christianity.
Okay. And so is it a certain kind of certain Christianity?
Just like Protestant, regular.
Okay, Protestant.
Stuff. Yeah.
And you only want to get into a relationship with somebody that's Protestant?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's the career goals?
For me, like, I'm not super driven towards doing one particular thing. I like to always like be trying new things and going in different directions and seeing like where I'm led, like in that particular time in my life. Whereas I'll be with other people, like dating other people that they're like, I just want to do this one thing and see how far I can take it. And if that's and that ends up being like the most important thing in their life. Whereas for me, I'm just like taking it day by day and trying different things.
So do you not like what they do, or do they not like what you do?
Usually it's them not liking what I do.
Got it. Because you like jumping from thing to thing and trying out. How old are you?
28.
28. I mean, you're still young. So, I mean, you still have, time to figure out exactly what you want to do. Okay. So, all right, let me go into my mind palace.
Sure. And if you don't have an answer, don't worry. But this is just the
I'll
question
have
that
an
I
answer. Okay. Well, so first off, I mean, when you meet people on dating apps, I want you to ask those questions on the first date. Like, you don't have to get interviewee about it, but like within conversation, are you the type of person that does this? Is this? First of all, being Protestant, I believe that should be in your profile.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
What does it say? That you're Protestant, or that you won't date anyone that's not Protestant?
And that's the thing, like, of course, I have dated people that aren't, but then eventually it ends up falling apart. Yeah. So, yeah, I have it that I am, and I don't have anything that says that I don't want that. So maybe I need to be more clear.
This is the way to say it. Say, okay. Looking for a great blah, blah, blah Protestant guy. Make sense? Looking for a great Christian Protestant guy, whatever. You can make that whatever you want, but like that's the smoothest way to say it. Looking for
Sure.
Put that right in the profile. Another thing you could do, and I'm pretty sure you have textual healing, right?
Yes.
And so like such a big part of that course is also talking about, instead of tell, show, show it in the photos. I mean, you could show your faith in one of the photos somehow. And that is an excellent filter. You know, the people that are not going to want to date somebody that is religious, they're going to see that and they're going to go, okay, that's not what I want. And the people that are interested in that, they go, that's exactly what I want. And
That makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, in the course, I talk about like being really strict about filtering out the wrong people, because people will just go on random dates for years and years. And it's like, well, we'll start the filter really tight and then go on dates, and then you'll have such better results. So yeah, I would recommend that in terms of online dating.
Yeah, because basically, I had like a Tinder date or a Hinge date today, and then it's like I'm starting to like talk to this guy to like be friends with him, and we have like similar interests. And then I'm like, tell me about your religion, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm Catholic. I don't go to church. I don't really, not really that invested in it. And I'm like, already it's like not really compatible, and it's like, why am I trying to like even start to be friends with all these different people when we don't have like the same things in mind for what we want?
And then the other thing is, I mean, and I say it all the time from the hilltops, is the phone call. So you could do that on the phone call, and then you easily avoid a wasted date.
Yeah, it was a video date. So
okay,
it wasn't
great.
Like
awesome. But yeah, get that out as soon as possible.
okay.
Now, when it comes to just like making friends in real time, I would, for your sake, because these are deal breakers, right? These are not like, oh, well, he has like a really big nose, and so that's not what I like. You know, that's subjective stuff. But when it's a deal breaker, that is important. So I'm not saying that I want you cutting out people that aren't Protestant in your life.
Of course.
But I do want you, and were you able to listen to the conversation I had with Bill?
Yes.
Okay. So something that he talked about was kind of being vigilant about about who you are, what your standards are, as opposed to what your emotions are telling you. And so I would honestly say, like, when you make friends, new friends, get to know who they are based on your value system and what you want. And then just work on mentally categorizing. Going, okay, I know that this is friend, never going to date this person. Right? And so when you meet, because what happens is, like, if we don't do that from the beginning, we don't make those, set those strict lines at the beginning, well, then you will just go, I'm just going to feel what I feel with this person over time and allow that to happen. And so, it's a hard thing to do, but like Bill said, is like, don't take your emotions as real, right? Like, if you want to be really strict and say, no, I want to follow my values. Okay, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, and like, I have gotten better at doing this over the years, of course. It's more so I have this like fear and insecurity about like falling for people quickly that I'm friends with, that I'm like, when I start to like go on dates, when I start to like meet new people, I have that like insecurity that kind of lashes out and makes me like nervous about the whole interaction. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to like bring it up to you and like see what you had to say about it. And
now wait, where do you get anxious again? What is the reason you get anxious again?
Because I tend to fall for people that are spending that are like spending the most time with me. I think that's what the
And so your anxiety comes from feeling like that's going to happen?
yeah, or just like worrying about it in general, because I've noticed and people have pointed out to me that it's a thing that I've done multiple times.
Mm.
So I'm like worried about it happening, and then I don't even like, and then my mind starts to like spiral with anxiety.
Yeah. Another thing you could do is you can kind of do things, say things that are going to help your emotions, help connect your emotions to reality. So like at the beginning, you could, and I'm sure you do this sometimes, but like verbally say, like, you're such a good friend, you know, I'm so happy to have you as a friend in my life. I want to always see you. I want to always have you as this friend.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put those words into the world, into reality, it makes it stick more. It makes it feel more true.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than if things are just up in the air, whatever happens may happen. I'm not going to say it. Who knows what's going to happen? Well, yeah, the anxiety is going to come. You're going to start getting more attached because you didn't at the beginning state what this dynamic is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so I'm sure you've done it before, but like now take this as a thing that you're going to do all the time and get really good at it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good question.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing.
Sure. Any more? Any other questions?
No, that's all I have.
All righty. Good night. Thanks for coming on again.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool. We have an Eric B. All righty. Good night. Thanks for coming on again.
Thank you.
Okay. You gotta mute me. You gotta mute the stream. Eric?
Yeah. Hey.
Did you mute the stream?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. What's up? How are you?
Not a lot. It's getting a lot colder. Getting ready for winter.
Definitely is. So, what do you got for me tonight?
I was actually ready for a mock date. Like, you asked us if you wanted anyone to volunteer, but
there are no women in the waiting room, so
okay,
there you go.
Okay, I think I have a question.
What's that?
I can pull up a question.
Yeah.
So I feel like do you think that like there are types? Like, people talk about having a type. And do you think that there are types? And if there are types, how can I be secure in my type? Because I know what I'm not, and I know what I'm kind of like, where my strengths are, if that makes sense. But sometimes I wish I was a different type of guy.
Yeah.
Does that
what
make
do you
sense?
mean by type, though? Like, you mean like, are you trying to say that like women are into certain types? And do you fit into one of those archetypes? Or are you just Eric?
I feel like girls do have types, or guys have types, and I feel like everybody has types.
Yeah. So, you know, I think what a type is I actually don't think people have types. What I do think is that we try to find trends in people's attraction, and we call that a type. So we try to find a trend in women that are attracted to this type of guy, like that are moving into the world of these traits. And then if we're going to do data, then we go, oh, well, what is the guy that has like most of these traits that most women are interested in? And then what is the guy that has most of these traits that most women are interested in? And in categorizing, that's nice to do. But I don't think there's an actual true type. I think there's, like I said, there's trends. I think there's, personalities, and some personalities like this, some personalities don't like this. But so like you trying to say, well, how could I better fit into a mold, into a type, an archetype that caters to the type of woman I want, is just, it's going against the grain of you naturally being you. So like, so there's a difference between self-improvement and being yourself and being your authentic self. So in terms of self-improvement, I mean, I've laid them out in the audiobook so clear and so simple. Focus on your presence, focus on your purpose, focus on your health. And then from there, that's it. Focus on what you want to do and just be obsessed with it. Focus on loving people, your life, your surroundings, appreciating everything and everybody, and focus on your body. In other words, the vehicle that you inhabit. That's self-improvement. Outside of that, you have to focus on as being as authentic as possible. Or you're going to be going against the grain of who you are. Because any time you are saying, no, I have to act a different way because I think that's going to be more likable. Number one, you're trying to act like a different person. There's nobody in the world that's able to do that. Actors are literally paid millions of dollars for a few hours a day, like getting into their head and focusing as much as they can to like be for the few minutes on camera at a time to like, hey, and how are you doing? And then cut. And it's like, oh God, wow. And it's taxing. So to act is very, very taxing emotionally. And then you're not going to be you're not going to be good at it. And then you're watering down your true strengths, who you are. And then the people that are looking for you are going to not be able to see you clearly. So you could spend your time better doing is, instead of trying to fit into a type, is trying to find your type. So going, how could I most efficiently find my type? Is it at the nightclub? Is it at the book club? Ooh. Is it at the baseball club? Like where is my type? When you get really efficient at doing that, that's when you could just start bringing in, a nice stream of the right people without trying. But that takes a lot of work too. The only difference is that work is fruitful. Whereas, working to fit an archetype is not fruitful. And it'll be taxing emotionally in a different way. Working to socialize a lot, joining communities, finding, going out there, meeting a lot of new people, that is taxing, yes. But that's more in like a kind of exhausting way, like, I just played an hour of basketball and I went really hard, or, I worked really hard today and I need to like relax after. But like trying to fit an archetype is taxing emotionally, like I think like negatively. And so it's like, you just want to choose the most efficient, effective strategy that's going to be taxing on you and take a lot of effort. This takes a lot of effort. It does. But just try not to get swayed into a different journey if a current journey isn't finding, if you're not fulfilling your current journey, when it's either one, you need to work on your strategy for it, or two, you need to just actually be active in it. be very active. How does that feel to you?
It feels good. It's just that I feel like I know that I have like a lot of strengths, like I know that I'm a very like caring and supportive guy,
Mm-hmm.
but outwardly, I feel like if it's like a party or whatever, and there's a lot of people, I'm not outwardly super fun and entertaining and
Yeah.
goofy. I think that, and I see my friends who can just be like that, and I'm like, I want to
Yeah.
be like them. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be outwardly
Well, let me ask
super
you
fun,
this.
but I feel like that's just not, I mean, I can have fun and I do, but like,
Yeah.
I see people who are outwardly
Yeah.
like that, and it's just like, damn, I know that I can, I know that like, because I have a friend who's kind of like that. He's this really tall, skinny guy, and then when he dances, he just always kind of makes me laugh, and
Yeah.
he's so sure of himself. And in talking with him, I know that I know that I have some strengths that he doesn't have,
Mm.
and so I'm not insecure. I love him to death, but I just, I see other people who are outwardly so fun and goofy,
Yeah.
and I feel like girls talk about wanting a guy like that, but then
Mm.
with someone like me who's a little bit more who's not as, I guess I'm a little bit more introverted, I feel like it
Yeah.
just takes time. Maybe,
Yeah. So I think,
like, do you get what I'm saying?
oh, 100%. Yeah. But this again, it comes down to knowing where you are the rock star.
Yeah,
But let me ask you, like, do you enjoy flirting with women at parties? Is it like pleasurable to you?
I guess it's a little bit, I guess I'm always worried that people are going to be eavesdropping and be like, oh, wow, and draw attention and be like, oh, Eric and Alexis, wow, look at you
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
And then I'll get like embarrassed.
Okay. So, uh, this is great. And I mean, we could dive into this for a long time and really go into stuff. But right now, what we're recognizing is the difference between, does my personality fit this, or is it just my personality that doesn't fit this situation, or maybe my personality does fit the situation, but it's just some anxieties that are kind of clogging up my ability to perform in the way that I want to. So it could be that.
Okay.
It definitely could be. It could be that you're at a social situation and your anxieties are what's holding you back, rather than it's not the right environment. And so, because listen, there's plenty of environments where I will go to, and it's not for me. Nobody would think that I'm charming in certain environments. But then in other environments, people would. But this very well might not be the case for you in this in this situation. So, just like you said, thinking people are eavesdropping, all of that type of stuff. That is a matter of presence. Okay. So I'm always going at it from a place of disrespect towards the person that I'm interacting with. Okay. So if I'm interacting with you, right? And while I'm talking to you, instead of me going, how can I best serve and interact with Eric right now, where he feels loved, supported, listened to, and fully engaged with me? That's what I want to do. That's respect to you. What if I was interacting with you and a lot of my head was going, what's the live chat thinking of what I'm saying right now? Do they think this is good? Do they think this question's good? Am I impressing people right now? Is this show being impressive to people right now? That I see as disrespect to you. Okay? And so that is the difference between presence and non-presence. My presence is my full attention into the moment, my surroundings, and especially whatever the hell is right in front of me. And guess what's right in front of me? You are, you know? And because of that, I see it as I see it as disrespect to worry about what other people are thinking instead of giving my full self to the person that is giving me attention and time right there and then. And seeing through that relationship with that person. So if that relationship could possibly be intimate, right? And if I don't see that through, that's disrespect. Because I'm not giving what this dynamic, what this relationship could need.
Mm-hmm.
How is this going for you?
It's good. What if, so you said that, that I'm the one who's in front of you, and presence is about kind of finding that thing about that person that you can love, and then, kind of connecting. But what if you're talking to multiple people? Because you said that a lot of social situations are just very chaotic, right? So how do you do that with a bunch of different people want to talk to you or that comment on your conversation?
Yeah, that's a good question. So before we go into this, I just want you to be aware that people that are more introverted, and I've talked about this before, people that are more introverted, who are not as acrobatic socially, I think that's a good word for it, need socializing at more of a drip pace. Whereas an extrovert, they could take a fire hose of socializing, where they could talk, hey, Johnny, hey, Sarah, hey, and they'll be, and they're just more acrobatic at that. Now, an introvert who doesn't socialize that often, who spends most of the time thinking, analyzing, putting things together, coming to great conclusions, to say, okay, now I'm going to jump out and now I'm going to interact with people at this party. That could be overwhelming for us. And so we know that we need to start with a drip. Now, you could build momentum in that way, and you could build that muscle of extroversion as you're having practice, warming yourself up, then interacting with more people and being able to tend to several people at a time. However, something important to keep in mind is, and this is what I wanted to get to, socializing always is 1-to-1. If it's 1-to-2, it's a performance. Okay? Now, just take on that philosophy. I don't care if it's true or not or whatever, but I want you to take on the philosophy. If it's 2 people at a time, then it's a performance. And if it's 1 person at a time, then it's an interaction. Now, what does that mean? So if I'm in a group, a circle of people, and I'm chatting, if I'm talking to, let's say John just asked a question or John said something, and I could ask John, hey, John, when you wore those pants, when you pooped your pants, were you wearing brown pants or white pants? And so for that second, while I'm asking and John is answering, it's a one-on-one conversation with John.
Okay.
Then Will jumps in and he goes, wait a second, he peed his pants. So it doesn't matter if he was wearing brown pants. So at that moment, now I'm having an interaction with Will, possibly. Or it could just be noise while I'm still having an interaction with John. But again, I want you to take it one at a time. And if you find that it's too overwhelming to jump from person to person to person to person in this circle, you're the person that decides your social interactions, Eric. So it's like you are allowed to step back and, maybe find the person that isn't talking to anyone in the circle and just say, hey, so how have you been? And take a one-on-one interaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Anything else?
And about the type thing, do you
Yeah.
kind of feel like I feel like I just need to capitalize on my strengths
Yes.
and then just kind of like have faith that that's enough.
100%. 100%. Because you do have strengths, and I say this all the time, you're watering yourself down when you're trying to be something else, or when you're insecure or anxious about your strengths. Use those, own those. And what's going to happen is the wrong people are going to move away. The right people are going to notice you and go, oh yeah, that's actually what I was attracted to. That's what I was looking for. It just wasn't bright enough for me. I wasn't able to notice it because he wasn't really using it. He wasn't showing it as much. But you have to be aware, Eric, that will be polarizing, right? That will make some people go, I'm bored by him. I'm bored when he's getting too analytical. He's getting too deep, or whatever it might be about you.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to go, yeah, that's right. There's some people that aren't into that, but I'm looking for the people that are. And so you have to understand that it's, by nature, being authentic is polarizing. Now, that doesn't mean I need you to be, like actively disappointing people. Like, you're allowed to cater to some people's personalities in order to involve them in a conversation, make things easier for them. That's great to do. But don't do it at the sacrifice of what you want to talk about and who you are. You're allowed to mold something. You're allowed to package it differently, just as long as it's coming straight from the source and true from the source.
Okay, got it.
Cool.
That
It's
makes
getting
sense.
it's getting a little complex, but it's clear to you?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear to me.
Cool. All right, buddy. Anything else?
I don't have anything. I don't have
Nice.
anything else.
Great. Well, come on next time.
Yeah,
It's
for
fun.
sure.
It's fun chatting with you because this is like our fourth or fifth or whatever chat. So it's like and this is kind of how my actual coaching goes, because I do long-term coaching with people. It's like what I'm telling you tonight is all based on what I know of you from all of the other times that we've chatted. So it's fun. It's fun for me because it's like I know you on a deeper level, so I'm able to give you more constructive advice based on what I know of you.
I agree that is really fun, but
Yeah.
I should tell you that my personality type has totally changed. It's not the
Really?
debater anymore.
What is it?
I'm an ENFP.
You're not an ENFP.
How do you know that?
I know that 100%. I've been studying the stuff lately.
I literally took it like a few days ago.
Don't take 16 personalities. It's super, super biased towards ENFP.
Actually, okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm going to send you, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. My friend Eric went.
It is, I am an ENFP-T, which means turbulent.
Yeah, but no, you're not.
Okay, thanks, Anthony. Great feedback.
Click the link in the chat for this new personality type test and take it really slowly.
Oh, there's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks for coming on. Bye-bye. All right. Let's bring in Ricky. And we got to make it quick because I got to get going. Hello.
Yo,
Ricky.
can you see me?
No, I
Here
can't.
we go.
I can't see you.
I'm coming.
I hit ask to start video.
Here we go. Can you see me now? No.
No. Here, I'll
Okay,
hit-
how are you, Anthony? How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Yeah, I would like to put my face up. So,
Yeah. I just hit the button ask to start video.
okay, start my video. Okay, nothing.
People need to know what you look like.
Yeah, that was the voice for truth, remember?
Yes. They want to see your beautiful face.
Yeah, that's funny. I won't. Yeah, I guess. I wonder why.
Wait, what are you on? Are
Um,
you on your computer, on your phone?
I'm on a tablet.
Okay, you're on a tablet. Does it have a camera?
It does have a camera. Yeah.
Okay. And do you see anything that says start video?
It does, but it has like a cross through it. It's like a red cross.
Yeah, tap that.
I did. Yeah.
And what happened?
And it gives me this thing, and it says, your camera is not launching properly. Please check your browser media and settings. I don't know.
Wow, wait, are you on the web?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
The browser of Hey, can you download
Yeah.
the Zoom app?
I probably can. Yeah.
All right.
Gotta,
All right. Download the Zoom app and get back to me, all right?
we got it, bro. Thank you.
Later, bud.
Later.
All right. And as I did that, I kicked out Ty, or Ty kicked himself out. So, yeah, we'll hang for another minute, see if he downloads it. I have to go and actually coach soon, but we will see. I'm going to read some chats for y'all. Damn, I don't like that I'm so choppy today. It's really pissing me off. Because I got everything fixed. I got it all set up. Let's see. Yeah, it's really choppy. What the fuck, dude? So annoying. All right, I'm going to read some chat. Oh, well, Ty's back on. So I'm going to bring in Ty. Yo, dude.
Hello.
What's up?
Hi.
How are
You
you?
said, yeah, I'm good. You said you have to leave soon, so I just leave the Zoom meeting.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could ask a quick question.
Hold on, let me get the camera so I can let you see my face.
Wait, you're literally going to set up a camera now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ask me the question as you're setting it up.
Okay, so how do you know if like a girl likes you? Because I've been following your tips and
Yo.
I've been Oh, hey man.
What's up?
Hi. So I've been following your tips, and then I've been treating people like my best friends. I've been expressing my attraction to the girls I like, but then the problem is I don't know if they like me back or not. Like they were really friendly,
Okay.
but then I don't know, like
Then you're
is
not
they actually
expressing
attracted?
you're not expressing your attraction enough. Tell me what you
Oh,
say.
okay. So I just pay attention to like their jewelries, their hairstyle, their vibe, everything. Yeah, it varies. Like not everyone's the same.
So give me an example. You say jewelry?
Yeah. So some girls love to wear rings and necklace and whatnot. And if I like them, then I wanna compliment the jewelry that they are wearing.
Okay. Now what about the
Yeah.
vibe? What do you say about the vibe?
Oh, so like I can tell them that I like chatting with you. You want to hang out sometime, and then yeah, that's it.
Okay. So you need to turn up the heat, buddy. When you express your attraction, I want it to
Yeah.
be more explicit. So
Okay.
use a good way to like a really easy word that you could use to make it clear is sexy. So you could tell her,
Okay.
yeah, you
Okay.
could be like, that's sexy when you said that.
Okay. Yeah.
That's clear. And yeah. say,
And
yeah,
oh,
instead,
keep
so like
going.
instead of saying, oh, you're really cute, or your nose is really cute, you could say like, oh, your lips are really sexy. You could even
Okay.
say like, they look like really good kissing lips.
Okay.
And from there, I mean, you gauge how the person feels. If they recoil in fear, then you say, oh, okay, maybe it's not that work. But you know, if you were
Yeah.
watching a movie with the person, you guys are next to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you just look and you just like, damn, you are so sexy. See how she reacts.
Okay.
I know. I mean, like,
Pretty weird,
that's
man.
what I know. But that's what I mean when I say express your attraction.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to try this?
Oh, like do the attraction thing? Yeah, I can try.
Okay. So then next time you come on, I want to hear how it went.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, and why cannot? Why can't we do the mock date between men? You know,
Why what?
why can we not do a mock date between men?
Oh, you
Like,
can.
why does it have to be between men and women?
Oh, no, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can.
because like you said, you said there are no women here, so we're not gonna do a mock date tonight. I was like, that's kind of weird.
No. I said there's no women here. And he said, oh, okay.
Oh, okay, it's not interesting.
I didn't say we're not gonna. I just said there's no women here. Yeah, no. If you want to do it between men, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I want to see how dates between men look like. Does
Yeah.
it like men and women? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next time we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I'll see you next time, okay?
See you.
Later. And now we got Reeky Deeky. What up, dude? He's here. I can't hear you, though. Or you haven't spoken. Oh, he's connecting to audio. Uh-oh, now the audio doesn't work? It says your audio works. Speak. No, audio does not. This is great. I think he's going to get it. Yeah, that is a sick beard.
Anthony, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Hey, I hear you now.
What's up, man? Dude, you're the bomb, bro. How you been?
I've been pretty good. How are you?
Cool, man. Yeah. Dude, big fan. You make like such funny show. I love your sense of humor.
Oh, thank you so
You're
much.
awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you really, somebody said you have a really dope beard. You have a sick beard, man.
thank you.
Your cut is great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Barber and yeah, just have to be a manly man and grow that beard for the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is my question for you, Mr. Anthony Recenello. Okay. I know you said like when you were growing up, you struggled like with social interactions. So as you got older, when did you finally become confident, and what was that shift in like your person where you could just be yourself like openly and willingly?
That's a good question. I don't think there was any one moment. I think it was slow. It was more like watching like the clock move. If you just watch the clock, nothing's happening. But then if you just kind of got to work and just put your head down and focused on your self-improvement over time and really, in my case, just got out there, met people, went on dates, and then you look up at the clock and you go, oh, wow, like 6 hours have passed. Holy crap. How did that little hand move so far? It was more like that. But I'm sure there were some milestones that I just can't remember right now. Let's see.
because like I was just thinking like sometimes I'm in front of like a really cute girl and I get like really intimidated, like I'm looking at like a tiger, a saber-toothed tiger, you know, like okay, here I go, and I'm like shaking, I'm like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
And like I just want to be normal, I just want to be
Yeah.
calm, you know.
Oh, well, you already told me what your problem is right there in what you said.
Just being normal.
No. When you said, okay, here I go. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do okay, here I go.
Oh.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
That's like being at a race, and then the guy shoots the gun for everyone to go.
Oh.
That's going to build tons of anxiety for you. That's that's like starting a video game or whatever, or getting into a fight and fight. It's that anxiety. Okay, here I go.
Right.
So it's already off to a bad start before you even interact. And so I am all about preparation. You know, for me, that idiom, you know, an ounce of prep beats a pound of cure. And so I am all about how do I get my head in the right place so I feel so comfortable? And so to answer your question better, I think what I really did is I was able to find the right steps over the years, enough of the right steps over the years, where when I did get to an interaction, I felt great, I felt confident, I felt fearless. And over the years, I would find a step and go, oh, this step helps. And then I go, yeah, but I'm still fucking shitty here. Oh, well, this step helped. So like a lot of that for instance, the whole, okay, here I go. That goes, okay, it's a performance. So, before you talk to your friend, do you go, all right, here I go?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't have that need to like, shine. Like, hey, I don't have that need to like, like a performance. You know, I don't feel that way with my friends. No.
Yeah. Why do you have to shine when you talk to somebody, when you meet a woman?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a bad habit. Maybe too many romantic movies. Yeah. I don't know.
Ricky, I got news for you, Ricky.
Sure.
You're already shining right now.
Oh, thanks.
You're shining, like your vibe is great. You're really great. So you're already shining. Okay. Do you know what happens when you try to shine something too much?
No, I don't know.
You I'm just like coming up with this metaphor right now. Like you start fucking up the shine.
Oh, okay. Kind of like self-sabotage, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're overshining. You're like, and it's like it's breaking down. You're already shining, buddy.
Thank you. Okay.
So like when you go, oh, I have to now put on this cool guy thing, or I have to be my best self. I don't want you to be your best self. You're already your best self right now. So adding all that type of stuff on top is just watering you down. It's making you not recognizable to the people that are looking for you. But it all comes from the beginning. And that's why I say, literally try to see the person that you're interacting with the way you see your best friend when you interact with them. Like literally enter that place in your brain. Now, things that so give me the context of the moment that you approach somebody.
Yeah, okay, so let's say like a really cutie, like a super cute girl, super like bomb Italian girl, right? So let's say I walk up to this beautiful girl, and I just like, I don't know, like.
Where do you see her? Give me the context. Where are you?
Okay, we're in a parking lot. We're gonna meet up. We're gonna just a friendly chit chat. So I'll say, hey, how are you? She'll say, good. I'll say, any plans for today? Yeah, I'm doing this. down. Nothing nothing. I got nothing going after that.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
And now, how did you said this is through friends or you approached a stranger?
This is like a stranger.
Okay. So why did you ask a stranger what her plans were?
I was interested. I wanted to see like more like I was interested in what that person was like doing, how they spend their day, kind of just fishing, just fishing.
Got it. All right. So hold on. I'm trying to find the right path of what I have like 4 things I want to say. I like trying to figure out the first one. Ricky, I want you to, when you are approaching that stranger, that hot Italian.
Yeah, right.
I don't want you. I want you to do a little exercise for a little bit, for like a month or 2.
I'll take a note.
No, you don't have to write it down. It's easy.
Okay, cool. All right.
I want you to not try to attract that person. I want you to try to not see that person in a romantic way.
Okay.
I literally want you to just go up to that person expecting that no romantic outcome will happen. Like literally expect it. Go,
okay.
I am not going to make this into a romantic thing. And I want you to replace that with just saying, I want to see if me and this person can have fun talking together. In other words, like I want to say things that I would say to my best friend that are fun. And I want to see if that person responds in a way that I like. In other words, a way that my best friend responds to me. If that person does, then it's good. Then you guys have chemistry. And then afterwards, I want you to go, yeah, it's still just friends. There's no romantic, there's chemistry and there's still no romantic outcome coming from this. Maybe I could perhaps be friends with this person. Hey, we should make friends. You like this and I like this. We should make friends.
So just don't expect anything more than just like, I think how you told the last person, just be focused, and this person kind of like, no, don't expect anything more or less, right?
Yes, that's right. And now if that person does not respond to your satisfaction, like your best friend would respond to you, then you go, I can move on. I don't really like this person. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're just going on a performance mode before you even know if you like the person or not. You're kind of like saying like, ooh, this is romantic. I have to make this work. I have to be hot and cool for this woman. You don't even know if you like her.
Right.
And so I want you to remove that. Just take it all away. All of this romance and you being hot and cool and all of that stuff. I want you to get to the foundation. Let's start small. I want you to see if you have chemistry with this person. Do you vibe well with this person? Again, this is not a performance for you. This is basically a test for them. Say, do I like this person? Am I vibing with this person?
That's true. Wow, Anthony, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I want you to also approach all people, all strangers, instead of just the hot Italians.
Okay, you got it.
Okay,
I'll
because also what happens when you isolate your interactions to people that you have this perceived value for?
Right.
You start to you kind of perpetuate that nervousness and that dynamic you have with them. But what happens is if you interact with everybody equally and give everybody around you equal attention and the same Ricky, What
Right.
happens is your brain starts going, oh, this is just how I interact with people. And so then when I do find that hot Italian woman, I already have the momentum built of interacting with all these other people in the natural Ricky way
Right.
that naturally shines. So it's going to kind of fall into her interaction as well.
Ooh.
Cool.
Wow.
So I
Yeah.
just want, basically, I would just want you being more friendly and social to everybody, and
Okay, yeah.
cutting out this the romantic dynamic at the moment.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh man, Anthony, I learned so much from you. Like, wow. Hey, you're on purpose, man. You're doing, this is your job. You're number one. You're numero uno, Mike.
You're amazing, man.
You're
you make
amazing.
me laugh. Oh
How can
shit!
I
Hold
be
on, I gotta
amazing if
put in
you're
other
amazing?
headphones.
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah,
My
right.
headphones just died.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. All right, how we doing?
We're good.
You there?
I learned.
Oh
I think
shit!
I got schooled
There we go.
by
I'm
an
back.
OG, original man. Yeah.
I got schooled by an OG. You're awesome, man. You got to
You're
come on
awesome.
the stream more.
I will, dude. Yeah, I've been busy, but yeah, I'm happy I caught it today, and I'm on it, and yeah, it's fun.
I'm glad.
Good show. Good show.
Oh, thanks so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. I'd
right,
love
dude.
to. I'd love to see you on here again, buddy. Nice to
Hell
meet
yeah,
you
man.
finally.
We got it going on. All right, thanks, dude. Later, everyone. Bye.
All right, have a good night.
See you.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. That was a fun stream, baby. 3 hours. I literally said 3 hours as it hit 3 hours. That's pretty cool. Bill Petit. Wow. Listen, I was expecting a nice interaction. I was expecting him to have some gems, but he kind of, like I said, he like fire hosed the gems. Me and him were like, we click philosophically. That guy, that's a rare occurrence for me to find another person that aligns so closely to what I talk about, which just validates my philosophy even more. I am so happy to see everybody chatting in here. Guys, once again, you being here is building this community of the type of people that talk about this type of stuff. There's really not a lot of places on the internet that talk about relationships in this way. I do, and you do, okay? There's a spectrum. There is creepy, red pill, alt-right, fucked up, alpha male, crazy psychopath shit. And then there is basic, boring, obvious, cosmopolitan stuff that it's like, come on, really? There's nothing else. There's nothing else. So you being here is helping to form this community, guys. And I'm just so thankful that you are here and that you like this stuff. You like what I have to say. You like what Bill had to say. You like what we're talking about. So thank you so much. And the fact that you guys are jumping on Zoom, talking to me, asking me questions, it's like I'm so appreciative to have people that want to know what I think. You know, that makes me feel really good to know that. So please, every Tuesday, every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then if you live in Europe, whatever the fuck time that is, you're probably sleeping. I'm sorry. And once again, I plug it all the time, baby. I plug it all the time. The Reddit. We didn't actually, look at that. We didn't even have time to get to all of the Reddit posts today. But I want to go through all of the Reddits. Each session, just slowly go through them. Feel free to post anything you want in there, you know, like weird, funny stuff, anything. Like you could talk about the stream that we just had, you know, like Dan's, who I know is watching right now, he said, will Bill Petit flake on Anthony again? And made a poll. Like, that's funny. In all of these videos that you guys are linking, I need this stuff. Like, I don't have time in the day to look for stuff to react to talk about, to analyze. Like, literally all day today, from the time I woke up, I was researching Kristen Stewart because I'm making a Classic Charm episode on her. And I really want it to be released on Monday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try as hard as I can. But it's literally, I'm watching 10 hours straight of her, just trying to figure her out, trying to take as many notes as I can to form there's so much I'm doing. So like the fact that you guys are on the Reddit putting that stuff in there is so helpful to me. And again, it forms the community. I'm going to be able to hold events, soon. Live events where you guys can come. We can hang out. You can meet everybody that's in the chat. But we're building this community. There's 23 people here. Each video gets, 300 to like 600 views right now of the podcast. We're starting really small. But you, me, we're going to build over time. We're going to build this community. And we're going to teach real, actual relationship skills, healthy relationship skills to the world. But it's literally, I need you. I literally need you in this. I cannot do this by myself. And that's why I started this podcast as a live stream, because I need you guys to help me. I can't do it by myself. So I want to thank you guys so much for that. Dan's said he's going to cream because of live events. And so let me read some chats. Anthony the Prospect spreading the gospel. This is like sick shit you guys are saying here. Candace said this was a fun stream. I'm glad. I'm already used to it. I don't know what some of these conversations are. The time is a bit inconvenient. Valdina says the stream starts at 3 a.m. in my time zone, but I'm glad I caught half of it today. I'm sorry. Let's see what else. Yeah, so before I go, Aldous says, Me Too has been thrown shit at because right-wingers want to make it seem like just expressing your attraction will ruin your life. It's not true. This is so fucking huge. This is so big, so important. There's no sexual assault in expressing your attraction in a non-work environment. Be clear about that, okay? In a work environment, no, you don't express your attraction to somebody. In a non-work environment, you do express your attraction to somebody. Do you assault somebody? Can anybody in the chat tell me if you assault people? Should you do that? No. That's the fucking answer. Is expressing your attraction assault? No, it's not. It's expressing your attraction in a non-work environment. Does going for a kiss mean that you're assaulting? No, that's going for a kiss. What about assaulting somebody? Is that assaulting somebody? Yeah. What about the R word? Is that assaulting? Yeah, that's bad stuff. Is that clear? I just love it when like Republicans and whatever, conservatives and alt-right. It's like, I can't even go on dates anymore because of Me Too. What? Why? I can't even like meet a woman. I can't even approach a woman in public because of Me Too. Why? Do you assault women in public? Like what? Well, it's like the most fucking ridiculous thing to say. So stupid. Candace says, what if people express an attraction when they are your Uber driver? Yeah, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, my brain said, well, like maybe make friends with the person. I would say err on not doing that either. I would say unless it's like just the most ridiculously obvious situation where you guys had so much chemistry, then yeah, maybe say like, hey, we should be friends. We should get together sometime. If it's like so obvious, like the person is asking you questions if you're an Uber driver. Aside from that, if you're an Uber driver, just fucking leave the person alone. Let's see what else you guys say. I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, isn't it great how every time somebody comes on the Zoom, you guys are all just fucking awesome people that are so charming and interesting. So Aldous also says, sexy is a scary word for me because I don't want to creep someone out. I've seen sexy or sexual words used to extreme failure and scaring others. So yeah, listen, things need to be calibrated. But I would actually tell you, and I'm telling you, as in you, not the general you, telling you that I would err on the side of risking thinking that you're going to be creepy or extreme failure. Because one, you need to practice expressing attraction to people to get good at it. And number two, those occurrences are rare and far and few between. Yeah. But that being said, yes, things need to be calibrated. I don't tell somebody that in the first 10 seconds you meet somebody, say, hey, I want to jump your bones. You don't tell somebody you want to have sex with them or something like that in the first second. The other thing is, it's how you say it. You could go up to somebody and be like, man, I could not get over how sexy your eyes are. If you say it like that, they'll probably just be like, oh, wow. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh, and then be kind of flustered. But if you go up and be like, your eyes are so sexy. I mean, that would be creepy. It's in how you say it. I like to think of it as like saying it objectively. Like I'm saying it as a matter of fact. I'm not saying it because it's like, oh, I can't take it anymore. But like you have really sexy eyes. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. But it is important to express your attraction to people when you feel it, as soon as you feel it. And you're going to find that the more you practice and the more you say it as a matter of fact, and the more you have that person's well-being in mind when you say it. Because another thing is, it's like, this is big too. And before I go, I think this is important for me to say. And you've heard me say this before. Everything I say is for that person, not for me. And I believe that people feel the difference. So if you see that creepy guy hitting on a girl, saying sexual stuff to her, and she's not liking it, it's likely that he's saying it for him. So he could get sex. So he could get her interested. He's saying it for him. He's saying it as a tactic. Whenever I'm interacting with somebody, I'm never thinking of that shit. I literally am never caring about if what I'm saying is going to benefit me. The only benefit I want is, well, one, I want the interaction to be obviously a nice one. I want to see if we can have a good connection and have a good relationship. But primarily, at the top, when I compliment somebody, when I express my attraction, it's 100% because I want that person to feel really good. I want that person to feel attractive. I want that person to feel sexy. That's why I say it. Like, I get such pleasure, satisfaction from seeing somebody go, wow, like I feel like really attractive. And that's why I could say something and just walk away, turn around and walk away and say, have a nice day. Because I literally am not saying it whatsoever for my own sake. I care so much about saying, I just want to make this person feel really attractive. And so when I say things, it's all it's coming from. And I believe that is the big differentiator in terms of if this is going to come off creepy or not. I truly believe that when a person can feel what your intentions are when you're saying it. Again, I just care about making that person feel good. It's exciting to me. It makes me feel so good to know that that person feels good. And so there you go. That's it, everybody. Thank you for coming. Your favorite beta boy signing off. I'll see everybody on Tuesday, and I'm going to try to get another fun guest on. Yeah, I have some people in mind. Because in all my videos, I realized there's been a lot of correspondence between people that have seen my videos that I've reacted to, where I have been in light, like, DM correspondence with these people. Who's to say they won't want to come on my little tiny little podcast thing, for a little bit? So I'm going to reach out, put out some feelers, and see if I could get somebody on every week or every episode. I think that would be really fun. And if anybody has any suggestions, put it in the Reddit. Once again, link for Reddit is in the description. If you want to apply to be on betas, link in the description. You'll get the Zoom link before each time I go live. Yes. So yeah, I'm going to try to get some fun people on every time. I think that would just be so fun. I like interacting with people. I hate just talking to a camera. The only reason I feel comfortable talking to the camera right now is because, like, I know you guys are listening to me right now. But when I'm filming videos, it feels so weird to be talking to a camera because there's nobody there. I could be talking to a wall. All right, so what does everybody say? Meet in Austin for a weekend? I mean, I'm probably going to do a LA meetup and maybe a New York meetup. I got to see how many people are in each side, Maybe I'll do like a little poll or something like that. Figure out where people are.